Someone comments that Elfina looks stunning today, her neck particularly enchanting. While playing with his phone, he remarks that she's incredibly attractive, the best among them. A few people mention she's a breath of fresh air, while another girl claims she bought matching underwear. A boy observes her from his phone. He taps the like button, grateful once more for her beauty. He gazes at a photo shared online. He comments that she looks as lovely as ever. Later at school, he's still glued to his phone, while the girls around him find his behavior odd. He never mentions that the elf group appreciated his message. His name is Karol Marumi, 17 years old, and a girl notes he didn't even flinch after the thought crossed his mind. Since childhood, he felt he had a blank expression, and over time, people began calling him stone-faced. Someone points out that today's outfit is white. The girl yells, arguing with him. It's been a month into the second year, and due to his nature, he still hasn't made friends. Furious, the girl threatens to kick his butt, then asks another friend if he noticed, to which he replies he didn't. Hero observes from afar, feeling intimidated by the girls, and decides he prefers black underwear over white. As he ascends the stairs, he thinks the elf girl is the star of the sultry selfies. If someone asked about his hobbies, on his phone he continues to browse her profile, thinking she shares personal photos daily on Twitter. He concludes that his hobby is definitely admiring those photos and following her, which is honestly all he's been doing at school. She manages to be both sweet and alluring, with just the right touch of daring. The boys adore her, and the girls admire her. He thinks she should respond and notes her strong bond with her fans. That's part of why she's a star. He concludes that she must be a fantastic person in real life. During class, he thinks today is a wonderful day, and the teacher announces that's all for now. The teacher instructs everyone to submit their notebooks, prompting complaints, then states that Harab will collect them today. The boy replies, "Yes, sir." Moments later, as he fills in his own notebook, students start lining up at his desk to hand in theirs. He thinks nobody likes him, but at least nobody hates him either, or so he believes. He reflects that he has no relationships with anyone, which tends to be his peaceful daily routine. Someone taps him on the shoulder with a notebook that was left for last. The girl, a bit awkward, thanks him. He jolts, thinking, this is Mitsui Koto. She's pretty and has excellent grades, yet seems distant from everyone. He's surprised she'd be kind to an outcast like him. He thinks to her, he's a nobody. Yet she remembers his name, which makes him happy. That must have been a smile. Flustered, he heads toward the classroom door. When class resumes, the teacher calls for Mitsuba. The teacher instructs her to stand. She apologizes and asks where they left off. The man notes she was spaced out again and tells her to focus. A student thinks she's doing it again and wonders how she manages to maintain good grades like that. He realizes she exists in a different realm. She appears friendly and kind. He sneaks a peek at her notebook, and to his surprise, it's filled with doodles and sketches. He thinks it's terrible. Everything might as well be encrypted. The day passes as he watches her fiddling with her phone, playing some sport, and also dozing off at her desk while the teacher calls her name. The girl apologizes to the professor, who corrects her, saying, "Professor." Later, someone exclaims, "Ah, Koto, using your phone again." A girl asks if she's finally found love, and she, embarrassed, insists that will never happen. A boy mocks her, saying, "Look at the iron wall," commenting that it's unfair she always gets high grades while just sleeping in class. Her friend jokes that love and math are two things she's always struggled with, and she replies that one of those isn't really a problem. The girl expresses pity for anyone who falls for her, and her friend adds that if that happens, the person will need someone to comfort them. Koto, annoyed, says not to make her the villain. Our hero listens quietly from his corner. She mentions that was her only friend and that they've known each other since elementary school. Her friend responds, asking what she should think in her case, to which Koto protests, "What the hell?" Suddenly, the girl turns around and catches the boy watching them. As he tries to act casual, another boy changes the topic, asking if they saw that, and the excited girl wonders if he means the post from yesterday. Our hero realizes he was unconsciously eavesdropping while sipping his juice. Looking at the girl, he thinks she's as bright as the sun. A simple greeting was enough to enchant someone as isolated as him. He wonders if she's one of those popular kids who go to karaoke or throw parties on weekends, and what kind of guys she might like. The girl awkwardly states, "All right, that's enough. I'm not interested in love." Her friend remarks that she can't tell if she's just spacey or immature, while Koto tells her to be quiet. Our hero pays closer attention, pondering her words. She's not into love. The girl adds that she dislikes BBQ and prefers staying home, and our hero thinks her appearance doesn't match her personality. Still keeping it low-key, he thinks she really is the type who enjoys staying in despite her looks, so he asks if she has any hobbies that keep her indoors. Kodo mentions she plays games occasionally and has a long list of anime to watch, impressing Narumi. He thinks she's cute, studious, a bit nerdy, yet still popular, concluding that she's amazing. He even wonders if someone like him might have a chance. People in front ask if anyone else thinks Pedroso is acting strange, and another boy replies, "That's just classic Pedroso." The girl murmurs that he seems a bit off, urging him to pay attention. The boy notices her, but our hero remains unfazed, sipping his juice with a blank look. She claims he's buried his feelings while he stays locked in. Benny worries that if anyone discovers his crush on the stunning Mitsuo Koto, they'll label him a creep. He resolves to tread carefully, avoiding any missteps that could shatter his stable high school existence. Out of nowhere, he glances sideways just as the girl looks his way, catching him completely unprepared. The girl nibbles on a snack, her demeanor shy. Meanwhile, the boy is practically spiraling over the whole scenario. He's stunned. She's never acknowledged him before. His heart races, and he realizes that might be why she's so admired. He assesses the situation, thinking she's his polar opposite, living a life so different from his own. If not for that accident, perhaps he could have shared her world. A voice called out to his younger self, a 5-year-old version. A girl invited him to play house, and he strained to hear his name. That was Kagura Zakaminami, always asking him to be her husband, flashing that radiant smile. Back then, he was smitten, and the teacher enjoyed watching their play. His mom had always told him to smile big for someone he liked. So, he called out to her, and she responded, "What is it, dear?" With a twisted grin, he thanked her, leaving her frightened. She dashed to the teacher in tears, who simply observed. The teacher informed him he had upset the girl, who claimed he was staring at her with a bizarre smile. The teacher took the girl aside, explaining that his actions were unacceptable. From that day forward, his face became a mask of indifference. Hands on his head, he recalled it all. He thought it was somewhat cute, yet ultimately sad. As time passed in class, he glanced at the girl, realizing that moment had no connection to this one, and perhaps, just perhaps, he might have a shot at altering his fate. As the day wrapped up, he felt an emptiness in his chest. Around him, classmates chatted about heading to karaoke. He checked his phone and saw the elf girl had shared a new picture. Perfect timing. Walking home, he mused that the elf would always be there, capable of mending any hurt. He stared at the girl's latest photo, flooded with compliments. He noticed a star-shaped mark on her backside, another alluring detail, and recalled a time at the beach when a jellyfish stung him. Suddenly, chaos erupted above as two people collided. One of them lost their footing, tumbling toward our hero. The girl fell, landing squarely on his face. As she tried to regain her composure, she exclaimed she thought she was going to die and apologized to her rope. In disbelief, he spotted the starship mole and stammered, "What? How, elf?" The girl looked awkward and bewildered. Still entangled, they both spoke simultaneously. Wait, what? That morning, a phone alarm blared. Someone shouted for Kodo to wake up. Breakfast was ready. She was just your average 17-year-old high school girl, or so she believed. She was sociable, did well in school, and looked good. Yet people called her an iron wall for her lack of interest in romance. But her true passion was a secret she kept to herself. She had just taken some photos and posted them online, announcing everything was set. In essence, she enjoyed sharing slightly risque images on the internet. It all began when she became a fan of other women's photos. The beauty of that world amazed her. She could hardly believe they had taken those shots themselves. Curiosity took hold, and she began snapping her own pictures. The more she shared, the more followers she gained, and the joy of their responses filled her. While doing this, she felt a rush of happiness, and no one knew this side of her. Keeping it a secret thrilled her. Glancing at her phone, she noted how kind everyone was, and her follower count was rising. She hurried, realizing she was late for breakfast. Her friend startled her with a cheerful good morning. Kodo jumped, and her friend remarked on her distraction and vulnerability. She seriously pointed out that Koto was an easy target. Kodo challenged that notion. The girl said if she were a guy, it would be much worse, prompting Kodo to ask what she meant. Hugging the girl, she reassured her that as long as she had her best friend, she'd be fine. The girl replied that she knew that was the real issue. The girl reminded her they needed to submit their biology notebooks today, and Koto reluctantly agreed to lend hers in exchange for a strawberry banana smoothie while checking her phone notifications. She smiled, realizing she had just received her first reply to the new photo. It was from someone who consistently liked her posts, lifting her spirits. Something caught her eye, and she saw her hero bumping his head on the door. Her friend commented that it looked painful, but Koto remained unfazed. The girl noted that even after hitting his head hard, he showed no reaction, definitely the stone-faced guy. She wondered if he had left all his emotions behind in the womb. Meanwhile, Kodafat Harub Marumi was undeniably an odd character. Later in class, Koto felt pleased that her photo had been well received, while her friend assumed she was gaming on her phone. Excited, she asked if Koto had finally fallen for someone, but Koto dismissed the idea. Her friends called her an iron wall, claiming it was unfair to excel academically while being aloof. One girl lamented her lack of success in love and math, but Koto countered that one of those wasn't really an issue. A girl expressed sympathy for anyone who fell for her, but Koto defended herself, asking her friend for support, who said she'd consider it. Koto insisted it was fine. Her disinterest in love was enough. Then she reflected that, honestly, it wasn't that she lacked interest in love, she simply didn't understand it. She preferred to spend her time being the elf. Once again, they locked eyes at the same moment. Meanwhile, someone commented, "It's okay, that's just how you are, Koto." The boy quickly averted his gaze, leaving her taken aback. She felt tense, thinking he was completely disregarding her, wishing he would at least show some reaction. She pondered why he had been secretly observing her, noting it's no wonder people called him Pedroso. While our hero appeared emotionless, she thought of him as Pedroso, deciding it was best not to get too close. As class concluded, everyone began to leave, exchanging goodbyes. Koto questions her friend about needing to hit the club today, but she replies they have the day off and are opting for bubble tea instead. The girl snaps another picture on her phone, distracted, and accidentally collides with someone. She loses her footing and tumbles down the stairs, landing squarely on the boy's face. In her painting, she expresses that she thought she was going to perish. Feeling embarrassed, she apologizes to Hirobe. He looks taken aback and mutters something she can't quite catch. As she lifts herself slightly, she hears him mention a star-shaped mole and asks if she's the elf. Panic sets in and she stammers, "What did you say?" Then she smacks a bag right into his face. Koto's friends rush over, incredulous that she fell right onto him. He checks if she's all right and if she saw his underwear. That boy looks like he might not make it. Later in the infirmary, Mattel's Kojito suggests calling the nurse and wonders if he should rest too. Her friend mentions the nurse is in the staff room and will return shortly. The girl, now anxious, questions if he really said elf, convincing herself she must have misheard. She thinks he doesn't seem like someone who'd be familiar with the selfie scene, but it's better to verify. Feeling embarrassed, she ponders how to approach the topic. Bringing it up out of the blue seems too risky. He could be one of her fans, complicating things. Half-conscious, he mutters. She's in disbelief, realizing he does know. She grabs him by the collar. Yelling, she demands to know what he knows. And he, startled, asks why she's in his room. Koto clarifies they're in the infirmary and insists it doesn't matter. She inquires how much he knows, and as he begins to wake, he realizes they're still at school. But why? Feeling awkward, she asks if he knows about the elf and tells him not to act clueless. The boy is stunned, unsure how to respond, but he attempts to defend himself, saying no, though he starts to stutter. The girl fires up, demanding an explanation, and he stammers again, saying he wonders how she knows about the elf and that he needs to find out today. Plus, she smiled at him and remembered his name. Her mind races back to what happened, questioning if she really likes him, but she notices he's losing focus, so she returns to her thoughts. Then he recalls when she fell right onto his face and that there was a mole there. He thinks she has a mole near her neck, and it seems the moles match in both spots. It could be a coincidence, but he doubts it, so all he can say is, gazing at the embarrassed girl, he concludes she is indeed the elf. The nurse arrives, apologizing for being in the staff room. She enters but finds no one, commenting that she was sure someone was there. Meanwhile, the two are hiding in an odd spot. The nurse continues her search, while the two remain concealed under the bed. Koto wonders what on earth she's doing, then realizes she's very close to a boy. Noticing him, she questions why he's making that expression. She glances at her outfit, thinking he's staring at it, but reassures herself she's probably just overthinking. She wonders why she's feeling so excited. He contemplates what kind of expression he must be wearing right now. He thinks the whole situation is pretty bad and isn't even sure where to look. Narumi can't believe the elf he admires is this close, and he questions what kind of face he's making at that moment. She smells nice, breathing right above him, and her lips look incredibly soft. She can't hold back and says that if this continues, she's going to end up doing something, and that she won't be able to stop herself when suddenly she grabs her phone. Narumi is taken aback, thinking, "What?" She asks if she can snap a photo. The boy wonders what on earth she's talking about and freezes. If this keeps up, he's going to lose it. They linger there for a few more seconds, gazing at each other. Meanwhile, the nurse continues her work while they remain hidden. Finally, the girl captures her photo. Narumi jumps when some boys burst through the door, saying someone on the basketball team twisted an ankle and that the principal is looking for the nurse, to which a woman replies that she's on her way. A little later, her friend arrives asking if she's all right, and she confirms. She mentions her old broker's fall, and her friend expresses disbelief that the stone-faced guy didn't react at all, even with her landing on him. The girl apologizes for making her wait, but insists they can leave now. Her friend says it's fine, but questions why her face is so flushed. Koto feels embarrassed and pretends not to know. Back in the nurse's office, Stoneface remains on the floor, stunned. He wonders what just transpired and if he's dreaming. It's only Monday, so why does he already feel utterly exhausted? Something catches his eye on his phone and he picks it up to check. He sees a new photo on the elf's profile. It shows her with him, captioned to keep it just between them. Narumi is shocked, nearly having a heart attack. Rolling on the floor, he wonders what will happen to his high school life now. Another day at Narumi's house. It seems he's cooking eggs for breakfast. As he cooks, he reflects on how he messed everything up. And thanks, what on earth happened yesterday? I still can't wrap my head around it. He still can't believe Mitsuo Koto is the elf he admires. Should he keep posting as usual? He had planned for a peaceful high school experience, wondering where it all went wrong. And as if that weren't enough, they attend the same school, with the elf in his class sitting right next to him. He wonders if he's exhausted all his luck. Reflecting on the incident, he questions whether she genuinely took a selfie right in front of him, looking thrilled. Are girls really this odd these days? He suspects this might be a setup, thinking the popular kids are playing a prank on him. What expression should he wear at school tomorrow? Alone at school as usual, he overhears their chatter nearby. It's surprising. Everything seems perfectly normal. It didn't unfold as he envisioned. He wonders if he can just keep his composure. Ultimately, he realizes he's just overanalyzing everything. The day continues, and he muses that Mitsuba exists in a world entirely separate from his. While tackling some chores, he repeatedly tells himself no, unable to shake this thought. He can't stop dwelling on it. He ponders if she meant it was a fleeting moment to forget. Stoneface thinks he needs to resolve this. He does some sewing, finding it soothing for his mind. Yet, there's no way a high school guy can simply brush something like this aside. He fears that if he leaves things unresolved, she'll dominate his thoughts. He can't allow her to break him. He must remain strong. He takes a deep breath. He thinks about how Messi stitches him into his mind, needing to forget this and find calm. He has to finish this for his little sister today, when suddenly someone bursts through the door. In disbelief, he turns to see Kubito entering the room. They share a few seconds just staring at one another. Then she exclaims she finally tracked him down. Clutching her clothes tightly, she admits she can't take it anymore. Surprised, Horobe thinks this is Mitsuo Koto and asks, "What do you need? You can't take it." She steps closer, standing firmly before him. Without pausing for breath, she admits it was tough to find him without making it obvious. But she brushes it off, insisting they need to discuss the elf, and asks if he hasn't told anyone. Our hero replies he hasn't. The girl expresses her distrust, trembling slightly. She explains that if this gets out, she'll be in serious trouble, and though he doesn't show it, he's shocked. But he feels the elf is quite close, and suddenly something tears. She realizes her skirt has snagged on the chair and ended up ripping. She exclaims, "Darn it, my skirt is torn and I can't go home like this. It's so embarrassing." Horo thinks maybe he can help. He approaches and asks if she can hand it to him. She looks a bit taken aback. Gazing at her, he requests she take it off, thinking, "What on earth am I saying?" And with such a serious expression, He tells her to just stay still, wondering if he's really sewing in this situation. Grabbing the boy by the head as she observes him, she confirms he's not acting strangely. Harb assures her he'll finish quickly, and Koto realizes he means no harm. That girl is clearly shy and flustered. She warns him not to look at anything inappropriate, while the boy retorts that it's rich coming from someone who takes those kinds of photos. Harab thinks the elf seems flustered, and she insists that this and that are entirely different matters. She thinks, this is so adorable. My heart. While he continues working, he asks her when she started taking those photos. Embarrassed, she questions what his problem is. Awkwardly, he stutters, it's just... Koto shyly states that it's none of his concern. The boy thinks this must be the real elf hidden behind those images, wondering if this is the true Mitsuha Koto. He realizes he wants to learn more about her true self. Still crouched, he assures her he won't tell anyone about the elf. A bit shy, she asks if he still likes the elf. Caught off guard, he quickly apologizes, saying he's almost finished. Koto thanks Pedroso as she grabs her phone and snaps a picture of him. He seems confused, and the girl defends herself, claiming it's for her own safety. With a smile, she says Pedroso is being naughty, peeking up her skirt, and he'd be ruined if that photo ever leaked. Harab is stunned and terrified, exclaiming, "Wait, what? Hold on." Shyly again, she mentions that the photo from yesterday turned out really cute and received great engagement. As she leans closer, the boy wants more. She says, "So, I'm not letting you escape with that sweet talk and smile." Later, Koto remarks it's incredible that he might be a genius. She's thrilled, saying she never considered making her own clothes for the elf photos. Now at least she can do that. Huro wonders how things ended up like this. Kodaro appears somewhat happy and amazed by the situation. He thinks this might signal the end of his peaceful high school existence. Just days ago, he was saying, "Me making costumes for elf photos." The girl panics, asking if he's not supposed to be good at sewing, claiming all her fans would be thrilled. As she pleads, her touch feels gentle and warm, making him think there's no way he can refuse such a request. Showing him the photos she took, she asks if everything's all right with them, leaving her hero with no escape. She looks excited about the dress he spent 3 nights crafting, and he concludes she's like a devil in an angel's disguise. And she threatened him with such an adorable smile. Even if the photo is a fabrication, the truth doesn't matter in his position. Narumi thinks if it makes her happy, then it's fine. When she gazes at him, he quickly looks away, pretending not to notice. Smiling, she declares that for now, they're going for a walk. Leaving him in shock, he asks, "Where to?" As they stroll down the street, she muses, let me think. He wonders if being alone together after school means he's on a date with the elf. Kano asks if he's even paying attention to her. Narumi stutters, claiming he's somewhat listening, but she accuses him of lying and apologizes. Anyway, she carries on, mentioning his sewing skills. Harab expresses his enjoyment of focusing on tasks. He takes pride in caring for his sister and handling chores, quickly apologizing for his speed, but the girl reassures him he's doing well. Koter grins, suggesting he should speak more often so everyone can grasp what he means. Our hero is taken aback by this. She inquires if he minds being called Pedroso, noting his impressive lack of emotion, to which he replies that he actually appreciates it. Marumi reveals that in the past he caused someone pain by expressing his emotions. The girl responds, her expression unchanged, that she actually likes that nickname as well. Our hero is taken aback, stammering as he asks if she genuinely likes it. Koto mentions it makes her feel closer to him and that it's a cool nickname, but she's eager to see his true self. Then she turns and says, "Let's go," leading the way. They arrive at a store brimming with costumes. Stoneface questions what kind of place this is. Selman greets them warmly, and Koto notes it's been a while since their last encounter. The woman mentions there are many outfits that would suit her. The shopkeeper asks if he's her boyfriend, but the girl corrects her, saying he's her servant. Then she laughs, saying they're just friends. In disbelief, he keeps repeating in his mind that he's friends with an elf. She sits him down, asking him to wait. After a while, she appears in a costume, and Harab thinks it's adorable. The girl looks let down, saying he's still the same old stone face, but he hesitantly insists he's not. Kono tries on different outfits, showcasing them to him while he thinks he's witnessing something extraordinary. She finishes and admits she's unsure what to choose, asking which one he prefers. The boy replies they're all fantastic. Suddenly, she questions if he isn't a fan of elves, and Harub thinks he could wager on that. The girl continues, saying she lacks anyone to give her opinions on these matters, so his thoughts would be helpful. Then she asks about his sister's age, and Harub mentions she's the same age and in her first year. Kodo asks if he's serious, suggesting she might have seen someone resembling him. She admits feeling a bit envious of his sister since she's an only child. The boy reassures her that his sister has a wonderful personality and many friends, making her life lively, prompting Koto to ask if he truly believes that. The girl elaborates that despite his claims of her having friends, she's still scared to reveal her elf identity, as she can't imagine saying it. But perhaps she's fortunate, as he's the one who discovered her secret, and now things are getting intriguing. Hero appears slightly puzzled by her statement. Kodo mentions that speaking of selfies, she took a few the other day. Suddenly, she steps out, grabbing his hand and pulling him into a fitting room. Confused, he asks what's happening, completely lost. She replies, "Don't you want to find out?" Our hero stutters, realizing this is the outfit he crafted. Kodo leans in close, whispering in his ear while asking what's going on. Then she steps back and pulls out her phone, snapping a flurry of photos. He asks if she just took another picture while still fiddling with her phone. Marubi grabs his phone to see what just happened, shocked by the photo he received. Still hovering over him, she declares he'll be assisting her with the photos from now on. She's about to share something regarding the elf. In the girl's locker room, someone announces it's her turn while another girl remarks on her laziness. Kodo comments that her friend's outfit is adorable, and the girl replies she loved it from the moment she laid eyes on it. Another girl asks where she got it, and the girl mentions it was from that store in Shibuya, prompting Kodo to suggest she should get one for herself. Her friend wonders if they have a size that would fit her since she's grown a bit. Grabbing herself, she claims they're quite large, while the other girl insists she's exaggerating. They check the time, realizing the teacher will be upset if they're late, apologizing to Kodo as they prepare to leave. Kona fiddles with her locker, seemingly amazed by something she spots. She feels a twinge of sympathy for Stoneface, but the photo from yesterday was flawless, capturing expressions she's never achieved before. Kodal shuts the locker, recalling the thrill of her heart racing. She ponders what that was all about, and later the teacher mentions the previous class didn't return the balls to the equipment room, asking Kodo to take them back. She responds, no problem. Pushing the cart filled with balls, she thinks it's quite heavy. Suddenly, her phone beeps and she rushes, realizing she forgot to silence it. She crouches down, noticing even more replies to her photo, and out of nowhere, she's hit 1,000 followers. A woman outside comments that she forgot to lock the door, walking over to secure it. She mentions the next period is starting, urging them to hurry. Inside, Kono grasps the situation and is taken aback. She shouts for them to wait, but it seems no one can hear her anymore. Suddenly, Pedroso appears like a specter, leaving her frightened. She screams as they call her name. Kano questions why he's there, and if he shouldn't be in the gym. Marumi explains they sent him to fetch more uniforms due to a shortage. The two teenagers come to the realization that they are utterly trapped. The girl can't believe this is real, and to make matters worse, she's stuck with Pedroso. His mind races with countless thoughts, tension building within him. He mentions wanting to skip basketball, pondering if this is karma, and that he needs to catch a store sale. Kodo advises him to relax. He peers out the window, but it's clear there's no escape that way. Koto questions if anyone will notice their absence and what he thinks. He claims it's easy to go unnoticed like him, but since she's popular, someone might search for her. They should try calling for help. Kona ponders deeply, coming up with a clever plan while he remains focused on escaping. As Hero concentrates, the girl contemplates if this might be the perfect opportunity. In the midst of calling for help, he gets yanked back into the room, yelling for her to hold on. He stutters, questioning Kodo's actions, warning it could be risky. She then shoves him to the floor as he curls up in fear. She tells him to just calm down for a moment. As she begins to undress, she pleads for just a second. Hero panics, asking what they'll do if someone walks in. Then she pulls out her phone, saying, "All right, here it is." He asks if she wants him to take pictures of her, and she eagerly agrees. He questions her reasoning, and Kodo replies, "Well, what do you think would happen if they saw that picture? They'd think you're a pervert." With a sweet smile, she says, "So you understand, right? Pretty please." Defeated, he takes the phone, preparing to snap the photo while she stands and poses. Kodo feels a sense of déjà vu from last time. Unlike when she takes her own photos, her body feels warm and her thoughts are scattered. She wonders when these feelings began and what kind of expression she might be wearing now. Then she questions if having someone else take her photos can truly evoke this sensation. She wonders if she looks cute in the pictures and struggles to maintain a serious expression. It seems Pedroso is about to click the shutter. As she continues undressing, she notices something's off with him. She wonders what it could be and realizes he's shaking. But she recalls that last time was similar and asks if he just can't keep a straight face while taking her pictures. Then she starts posing, thinking it's happening again. Showing off, she asks if she should go with this pose or that one. Kano realizes he's flustered because of her. Feeling shy herself, she starts to tremble. She wants to see the expression he makes when he reaches his limit. Excited, she thinks it makes sense. After all, he is a fan of the elf. Hearts race, and she concludes this is a once-in-a-lifetime moment for him. But for now, she decides to be patient, slowly coaxing that look out of him again. She wonders about the excitement coursing through her as she continues to undress. She realizes she can't hold back any longer, and this feels wrong. This is the side of her only Pedroso knows, and he is someone only she understands. She decides she wants to explore this further, more and more, until he finally snaps the photo. Just as she was reaching her breaking point, kneeling there, he says he took the picture, and both remain on edge, until she takes his hand. As she thanks him, her friend suddenly bursts through the door, demanding to know where Kodo has been. The girl, confused, replies that she's right here, along with Nomis, and explains they were locked in together. She hugs her friend, saying she was terrified while our hero quietly slips away, muttering apologies. Mocha asks what's wrong with that guy, and if she's all right, suggesting being stuck with him must have been frightening. Smiling, she assures her friend she's fine, and surprisingly, Stoneface is actually a nice guy, leaving her friends stunned. She asks if they are that close, and Kodo clarifies it's not quite like that. It's more about her curiosity regarding his reactions. She adds that they are friends now. Mocha, puzzled, asks since when, and the girl replies with a smile that it's recent. Her friend exclaims, "No way." During class in the sewing room, our hero asks Kodo what she's doing there. He senses an odd vibe and recalls how she unexpectedly asked him to meet after school. He wonders if those photos have finally leaked. Suddenly, with determination, she declares they are going on a strategic date, leaving Herob bewildered. She explains that by discussing the elf's next moves, she's gained over 30,000 followers and hopes even more will notice her. Herob agrees, happy for her growing popularity. Then, out of the blue, she softly says, "Thanks. It's all thanks to you, Stoneface." He thinks she's adorable. Here we go again. When she stands up and says, "Let's go," he wonders where they are headed this time. Our hero is taken aback when they arrive at a house, and he thinks, "What?" He questions if Kodo is inviting him over, curious about her parents. She clarifies her parents are working late, so there's no need for concern. Taking his hand, she urges him to come inside. They enter and shut the door behind them. He realizes it's just the two of them. Inside her room, the boy feels extremely anxious, only hearing his own heartbeat. He's drinking tea, wondering if this is a dream. The girl remarks, "Well, you drank it all." Akira thinks, "Haro Marumi, chill out." Kono stands, saying she'll grab some orange juice since the tea is gone, and he stammers that it's fine. She heads to the kitchen, her expression stoic throughout. Excited, she wonders if he's nervous, thinking he's kind of cute. As she reaches for the juice, a realization hits her. Nerves kick in as she remembers Stoneface is in her room. This means she's let a boy into her space for the first time. Distracted by talk of the elf, she lost focus. As she approaches the room, thoughts of Stoneface make her even more anxious, hoping to avoid awkwardness. While walking, she tells herself to relax, glancing at the shoes by the door, nearly losing her composure. Suddenly, her face flushes. Deciding to put the shoes in the closet, she thinks everything will be fine and heads back upstairs. Meanwhile, in the room, Stoneface is way too tense being in a girl's space, Mitsuba Kodo's room. Despite her popularity, she has a knack for keeping boys at a distance, earning her the title of the Iron Wall. Moments later, she returns, and both are clearly on edge as they lock eyes. Removing part of her uniform, she suggests they should start. The boy stammers, asking, "Start what?" She replies she'll go first with an explanation while he remains super nervous, saying she wants boys to notice her. Recalling various moments, she reflects on how boys look at her. She mentions it's for modeling, noting everyone loves healthy girls. Arna Ruby notices her jacket is off. Canova insists she must give her all to please her fans, and he thinks it's great she's so dedicated. The boy agrees, asking if that's her secret to success. Suddenly, she falls silent, her expression shifting. They sit side by side, and he says he wants to ask something in exchange for helping her. He inquires why she's so committed to the photos, wanting to know the motivation behind it. Is it passion or affection? This makes her hesitate. She begins to explain that in her past, she lacked confidence. As a child, she was just a shy, ordinary girl who hid behind her mother. She had few friends and struggled with socializing. Ruby asks if there's a deeper meaning to her photos, and she admits that whenever a camera pointed at her, she would freeze. But then she noticed someone sharing photos online. Determined to take the best pictures, she worked hard so others could see her shine. It was all magical. On her phone, she shows a picture of herself as the star, Sakura. When she launched her account, she took the world by storm like a tsunami. Every photo she shared was sexy and stylish, but after a year, she vanished from the spotlight. She thought she wanted to emulate her, and thanks to that girl, she learned to believe in herself, leading to the creation of the elf. She knows this isn't a hobby she can easily share, but she hopes every elf fan will find her amazing and incredible. The boy listens in silence. He wonders, could it be? Could she truly be the elf? It's possible, and he's surprised to conclude, without a doubt. The girl didn't expect that response and asks if he's serious. She mentions it was just her for a while, but now she can share the elf with him and enjoy it, while he assures her he believes in her and is a fan. She expresses happiness that he's the first to learn about the elf. Our hero is slightly taken aback when she stands and says, "With that, turn off the light." Beginning to undress, she states they're going to study now. She steps closer, shyly unbuttoning her shirt. The boy protests, saying it's not a good idea to do this alone, but she insists that whenever he's around, she gets great ideas for photos. Suddenly, her parents burst through the front door, her mother announcing she got off early, and they hurried home. Panicking, Koto exclaims, "No way! They were supposed to be late today." Her mother replies that they both happened to get off early and took the same train. Dinner will be ready soon, just wait a bit. Narubi asks what they should do now. In a panic, she tells him to erase any trace of his presence, and her dad asks if everything is all right. Usually she would rush in hungry. Koto says, "Dad, you can't just say that out loud," grabbing Narumi and insisting he must hide. Her father approaches her room, entering and asking if she's asleep. The girl greets her dad, saying she's a bit tired from overdoing it in PE, and he responds that he understands. She explains again that they ended up on the same train, while our heroes huddle in her closet, wondering about the pleasant aroma. Suddenly, he freezes, realizing where the lovely scent is coming from. The dad hears a noise from the closet and asks what that was. The girl explains she was moving things around and something must have fallen. Her dad tells her to tidy it up. Our hero thinks that was close, and he's definitely in for a scolding later. He finds an old elementary school book and starts flipping through it. He spots an old picture of the girl as a child. He recalls how different she seemed back then, remembering the tale she shared not long ago. Glancing at the book, he realizes she truly has transformed. As expected, Mitsuba is incredible. Her father announces he's leaving and tells her to assist her mother, which she readily agrees to. Out of nowhere, the closet door swings open. The girl exclaims they made it and apologizes for cramming him inside. He reassures her it's okay. Kodu offers to create a distraction in the living room, allowing Narumi to slip away. They spring into action. The girl diverts attention while the molar hero sneaks out to the street. It feels like they're seeing each other from a fresh perspective. A curse erupts from within. The girl mentions her album is there, and he likely spotted it. She retrieves the book, discovering a note from a roommate apologizing for peeking and cheering her on. A smile spreads across her face. Clutching the book, she declares it's for Mitsuba, not the elf. Back home, he receives a message. She expresses her apologies and happiness about their shared experience. Maruvi responds, saying it's a moment worth celebrating. He contemplates visiting her place, feeling content that everything turned out well. The ability to exchange messages with the elf brings him joy. He feels pleased with how Mitsuha regards the elf. In that instant, it all felt surreal, and he was thrilled to be her supporter. He wishes he could remain there. Yet reality isn't exactly kind. His studies have been neglected. Thoughts of the elf and Mitsuba consume him. If he fails, he'll face extra classes during the break. He frets over what to tell his mother when suddenly someone announces their return. It was Mamie's younger sister, just 15. She notices his pale complexion and inquires if something's wrong. Narumi admits his grades are dismal. The girl responds, "Even you, big bro, that's unusual." He questions her "even you" remark while glancing at her poor grades. He realizes he overlooked that his sister isn't exactly a genius either, making this a dismal outcome for both of them. He reflects on how she never takes notes and ponders how to remedy this later at the library. Mitsuba wonders how they ended up in this predicament, while the hero offers an apology. She questions if Stoneface is actually clever, and he insists it's not usually like this. If only you knew who was to blame. He inquires about Mitsuba's grades. She reveals a perfect score, leaving everyone in awe. She claims this is just the norm. Maybe, putting that aside, she gets excited, mentioning it's the first time she's heard about such a beautiful friend of her brother's. She sniffs the girl, commenting on her lovely scent and asking if she's wearing perfume. She admires her long eyelashes and is captivated by her curly hair, asking if it's natural. She gives her hair a gentle tug, noting how soft it is. Kodor thinks this is a bit overwhelming. The two enjoy each other's company, and Koda reflects on how different Narumi's sister is from his expectations. She imagined a little stone face, while Mimi asks how she achieved such long hair. She's tried everything. Kodo explains she didn't do anything extraordinary, and Mamie expresses her envy, calling it amazing. Our hero remains tense, questioning what he should do. He feels lost, unsure where to focus his gaze during this girl talk, fearing his eyes might wander. He notices he's the only one still taking notes, wondering how long Mitsuis can keep his attention. Girl talk is daunting. Things take a turn for the worse when Mamie asks where the girl got that adorable underwear, but they're interrupted by someone entering the room. The woman comments on their lively study group, saying a boy is just what they needed. She requested Herov's assistance, and he agrees. Kono tells Mamie it's time to focus on their studies. She says she'll start with factoring, and Mamie asks, "What's a quadratic function? Can we skip that part?" Kodo wonders if she struggled with the entrance exam, and the girl replies she just went with her instincts and somehow passed. Mamie asks, "By the way, when did you become so close to my brother?" The girl explains it hasn't been long, and they sit close together. Mamie nods, understanding. It was fate, leaving the girl puzzled. She adds that her brother having a friend to share notes with makes her genuinely happy. She recalls how, as a child, people often misunderstood him. Kodor remarks that he's always been like that, and Mamie responds, "He's such a goof, right?" Because of this, he never had many friends, and she always worried about him. She even enrolled in the same school as him, and it was a miracle she passed the entrance exam. She apologizes for possibly boring her with that tale, but the girl reassures her that she can sense how much she cares for him. Stoneface's sister mentions he looks out for her too. She believes that for Arumi, Kodo is the best sister he could wish for, and if it were her, she'd be truly happy. Mamie, all smiles, declares Komodo is genuinely a wonderful person. She's beautiful and such a lovely girl. Meanwhile, our hero is buried in the book stacks. Narubi feels relieved to have distanced himself from that situation, as he'll never grasp how to handle that kind of pressure. He wonders what kind of study group this is, with one guy and two girls, as if it weren't enough that Mamie is already overly attached to Mitsuha, who is also leaning heavily on her. As he walks down, he resolves to apologize to her later. Suddenly, Kodo appears, asking where the math books are. Our hero tumbles down the stairs, much to the girl's dismay. She apologizes for startling him, pointing out that the math books are over there. The girl inquires if he was part of a library committee, and he replies that he was during his first year. In the end, she remarks, "So about Mamie." He hastily apologizes for her, feeling a bit awkward, and says, "Stop that, she's such a lovely kid." She expresses her desire for a little sister like her, mentioning that chatting with her made her feel like an older sibling, even if she's unsure what that truly means. Mitsuda appears thrilled about the girl, exclaiming how adorable she is and how she never tires of her. She lingers, finding the girl charming, while our protagonist questions if she's doing this intentionally. Pedro Visas remarks he's relieved she isn't irritated, suggesting if someone needs to be disliked, it should be him. Kano claims he's a fantastic big brother, hinting she might want to reconsider her view of him. The boy replies, "Sure, just treat her kindly like your sister," prompting the girl to ask what he means by that. Out of nowhere, our hero trips and accidentally pushes the girl against the bookshelf. They remain there for a few moments, uncomfortably close. He thinks he can hear her breathing, and it feels almost like as if he could sense her heartbeat or feel its rhythm himself. In the next instant, her cheeks flush deeply as she says, "Hand." The boy is taken aback. Suddenly, his sister shows up, calling him a scoundrel and questioning his expression, prompting him to raise both arms defensively. Marubi's sister inquires if they share that kind of relationship, while the girl shouts that it's not like that at all. Then she adds, "I figured as much." Mamie instructs him to apologize, and he responds with a quick, "Sorry, it was an accident." Kodo reassures him it's fine since she was in the way too. The girl tells her brother that in 15 years of knowing him, this is the first time she's seen such a grotesque expression. She tells him to be quiet, and Mitsuba interjects, "All right, enough. Let's get back to studying, you two." They continue bickering, while Koda suspects she knows something even his sister is unaware of. And that thought brings her a bit of joy. The following day, he discovers his sister must take a supplementary test, and while his results weren't stellar, they weren't terrible either. On Sunday, Koto arrives, thanking Pedroso for waiting. He notices her casual attire and the glow on her face. Smiling, she mentions it's the first time they've met on a weekend. In disbelief, he thinks their time together feels like a date, and Koto asks if something's wrong, but he brushes it off, saying it's nothing. He reflects on being 15, going out with Mitsuhara on a weekend. A day prior, Mamie was asking her brother about her pudding, and he questioned if she hadn't eaten it the day before. Checking his phone, he sees a message from Koto inviting him to go shopping on Sunday. He's both surprised and stunned. He thinks Mitsuba invited him to shop with her, wondering if this is all just a dream. Tomorrow is Sunday, which means it's the weekend. He wonders if she genuinely wants to spend it with someone like him. He realizes he was so rattled by that message he couldn't sleep, arriving 2 hours early out of worry. The girl apologizes for making him wait and says, "Let's go." Time passes, and she shows him something in her store, an item that turns your eyes into hearts. He comments that it looks cool. She points out a tripod, and he agrees it looks cool too. She picks up another small item, and he says it looks cool as well. She gets frustrated, saying all he said is that it looks cool, and he apologizes for that. Kodo suggests he should be the official supporter of the elf, and he wonders why that title sounds so significant. The girl expresses, "Thank you for coming. I've wanted to do this for ages, but it's tough to find someone I can trust," and that he's the only one she can depend on. Our hero thinks, "Just me. Doing something like this could lead to misunderstandings. This, huh?" She gazes at a small figure, thinking it's incredibly cute. They both question it, while he thinks it's not cute at all. She points out more over there, saying, "What are these little ones? I really want to hug them." Nairobi asks if she likes things that are a bit odd, and she replies she often hears that, but to her, they're all adorable. Talking to the quirky little figure, she shows him various pens she has. The boy picks one up, saying it looks like a completely normal pen. Then, he suddenly gets a massive shock, and the girl bursts into laughter. Kodo says her stomach hurts from laughing and is even more impressed he maintained a straight face. With some effort, he explains it was a shock pen and that it was cruel. The girl apologizes repeatedly. Excitedly, she exclaims, "Stone Face is hilarious." Meanwhile, our hero thinks this is the high school life he's always dreamed of. This is fun. Also, feeling a bit shy, he concludes she might be his first real friend. She declares she's finally satisfied with all their purchases. She checks the time, asking if it's still only 3 o'clock, and then asks, "Hey, Stoneface, what are you going to do now?" He stands there stammering, pondering, "What do I want to do?" He wonders what kind of question that is, and if it's really okay for her to spend the rest of her time with him. But he realizes he's never done anything with a friend before and isn't quite sure what to do. As they stand there, contemplating their options, it begins to rain. Marumi grabs her arm, saying to go that way as he dashes off, leaving her surprised. They seek refuge under a storefront awning. Our hero remarks it doesn't seem like the rain will let up anytime soon, and the girl agrees. In shock, he glances sideways and notices something about her. Konam remarks on her drenched state, while our protagonist notices her dress has gone completely transparent. He removes his jacket, urging her to wear it. She seems confused until he points out her outfit, and realization dawns. Flustered, she expresses her gratitude to Stoneface, who reassures her. He suggests they find shelter indoors, and she agrees. After a while, they opt to visit a karaoke venue. Narumi feels a surge of anxiety being there with her. It's his first experience in such a place when she hands him something. She takes her phone, passes it to him, and removes the jacket, asking him to snap a picture. Our hero stares at the phone, momentarily paralyzed. It's odd, both of them, drenched from the rain, now holed up in a karaoke room. Kodo requests to see another photo of the elf he took, catching him off guard. She urges him to hurry before she catches a chill, handing him the phone. On the screen, a love song is announced, and someone inquires about its backstory. He watches her through the phone as the interviewee reminisces about their first love in school, revealing an unusual hobby. The girl begins to strike poses for the photo. Suddenly, the door swings open, and an attendant apologizes for the wait, bringing in hot chocolate and melon soda. The attendant encourages them to take their time and enjoy themselves. Kono complains about the cold, claiming she's turning into ice. She inquires if she can borrow his coat. As he watches her, thinking she's incredibly cute, she glances at the photo he captured. She beams, complimenting his photography skills, and thanks Stoneface, who replies, "It's no trouble." Kono, feeling a bit bashful, asks, "Hey Stoneface, can we hang out again?" He hesitates but eventually agrees, prompting her to exclaim, "Really, I'm so happy." They then enjoy themselves while Mitsuba sings. Kodo rushes in, toast in her mouth, as if it's a high school girl's ritual. Once in class, they exchange morning greetings. Her friend notes it's unusual for Kodo to arrive at the last minute, to which she admits she overslept. Mitsuba mentions her shopping trip yesterday, and her friend comments on the iron wall's consistent performance. Lakota questions the odd greeting. Just then, our hero enters, and their eyes meet for a brief moment. With a cheerful tone, she greets him, and he responds. Her friend wonders if they're friends since he rarely speaks, causing the girl to blush slightly as others join in with morning greetings. Kodo thinks it's thanks to Pedro that she could buy a new light. The fans' positive reactions were a huge boost. While scrolling through her phone, she ponders. Aside from that, she recalls a moment spent in the rain. It feels like she's beginning to view him more favorably. She observes that, as usual, he appears expressionless at school, giving off a vibe that discourages interaction. Yet, when they interacted, he spoke more, and even if it was little, his expressions were always kind. She believes the real Pedrozo is gentle, caring for his younger sister, and likely a good person. She remembers when he left a note calling her Mitsuha, and how she once thought he was only around because of the elf. She contemplates what to say and how to process all of this as Mitsumoto Koto. Time drags on in the classroom. Meanwhile, our hero reflects on the unexpected encounter, a memorable day off, and how wonderful it was to see Mitsuhara in casual attire. It feels like he experienced a day as a genuine high school student, but to Mitsubishi, he must seem insignificant. Narumi suspects he's the only one aware of her true nature. What remains unchanged is their status as classmates. The teacher arrives, instructing everyone to take their seats, announcing a big surprise, and asks someone to enter. Everyone settles into their seats, and Kodo wonders what the surprise could be. Her friend speculates about the surprise while Kodo simply watches. Suddenly, the new girl trips and falls, prompting the teacher to ask if she's okay. She gets up and requests permission to introduce herself. The students inquire about her identity, and others mention she's a transfer student, leading the teacher to prompt her introduction. She introduces herself as Minami Kagersaka, expressing pleasure in meeting everyone. She mentions her family moves frequently, but returning here feels like home, asking for their kindness. The class is a mix of stunned faces and those thinking she's incredibly cute. Her friend exclaims she's adorable, while Kodav comments she resembles a model. Our hero appears shocked, and Kodomobus is taken aback. She thinks Pedrozo looks like he's reached his limit. It's the first time she's seen him like this, and concern washes over her. She wonders if it relates to the new girl. The teacher announces that the girl's seat will be next to Narumi. Everyone turns to face the boy. The lively girl approaches, saying it's a pleasure to meet him. Suddenly she freezes, asking if he's little Narumi. The entire class is taken aback by her reaction. The teacher inquires if they are already acquainted, suggesting the roommate could share everything. The boy nods while the girl shyly expresses her pleasure in meeting him. Seated together in class, a heavy tension hangs in the air. Pedro quietly apologizes, and the girl reassures him it's all right. Koda assumes the girl must be someone Pedro knows and tells herself it's fine. He likely has other female friends. Yet, she can't shake off the unease and discomfort of the situation. Eventually, class wraps up, and Pedro and the girl exit together. Mitsuba can't stop pondering who she might be, suspecting she could be the Minami who transferred to their school. That moment, that day, that place, it's the reason Pedro earned that nickname, and they haven't crossed paths since kindergarten. As they stroll, the girl suddenly vanishes, prompting the roommate to look back and find her sprawled on the ground. He rushes over, kneeling beside her, asking if she's okay, but is taken aback by the sight. It's a bit awkward, yet he assures her it's fine. The girl thinks of her roommate while he stutters about a tomato pattern. Confused, she understands and adjusts her skirt. Feeling shy, she asks if he noticed. He looks away, stammering a no. Embarrassed, she admits it's awkward, apologizing for her odd behavior and asking him to forget it. He gazes at her, thinking Minami still looks as adorable as ever. In the locker room, he shows her the crafting club, mentioning he's the sole member. She finds it cool and asks about the club's purpose, which he describes as an extension of his home economics studies. Her excitement bubbles over as she expresses gratitude for the warm welcome, sharing that she usually has to start from scratch to make friends. Marumbi announces this is the final stop, and she cheerfully thanks him for everything. She feels truly fortunate for his assistance, assuring him that if she encounters confusion, she'll just follow his guidance. He agrees. Feeling trusted brings him joy. The girl asks if he remembers them, even though it's been a while. She mentions it would be embarrassing to keep wandering in circles. Neurovai pretends to ponder. He recalls it was back in kindergarten. She excitedly exclaims, "It's been a decade since then," praising Marumi. She confesses feeling nervous upon seeing his face that morning, and he thinks she hasn't changed at all. Minami explains that their long separation since kindergarten left her unfamiliar with anyone here, which is why she's thrilled to reconnect with an old friend. She hops in delight, declaring they're friends. The roommate admits he was surprised too, but suspects she might dislike him. The girl quickly counters that's impossible. She blushes, insisting she could never forget little Narumi. Our hero is taken aback as she continues. It feels almost destined, things that are meant to be. As he strolls down the street, disbelief washes over him. Minami is back. It feels surreal. Seeing her again after a decade, he silently absorbs it all. He recalls her saying she couldn't forget him, as if it were fate. In that moment, his heart races. He had thought she despised him all these years, but now he realizes she doesn't. Because of this, he feels genuinely happy and wonders what could possibly be wrong. For now, he chooses to bask in this wave of happiness. Nostalgia washes over him. He spots the place where he played with Minami as a child, and meeting her again feels miraculous. Suddenly, someone calls out to him. The girl appears, greeting him with a good morning, claiming it's a coincidence. He's astonished to see Minami. He asks how they ended up here, and she explains they moved into the area. Minami remarks on the nostalgia, pointing out their kindergarten is right here, where they used to play together. She calls it almost miraculous. Our hero is left speechless. He contemplates attending school with a childhood friend, wondering if that could actually happen. Later, already in class, Koda appears to be in a foul mood, clearly troubled by something. She suspects that girl is trying hard to get close to that two-faced guy. But what's their connection? Cradling her head in her hands, she can't stop thinking about it, questioning what's wrong with her as her friend calls out, oblivious to her thoughts. On top of that, her heart races. She wonders what this feeling could be. Suddenly, her friend gasps, asking, "What's that?" Our hero walks into the classroom with Minami. Kola is in shock, thinking, "Stone face, and that girl came to school together. How did that even happen?" People greet Kaibirazaka, asking if she arrived with Stone Face, and she confirms it was by chance. Mitsuhara, desperate, thinks there's no way they came together. They must have just met by the shoe lockers. The girl mentions she was chatting with Narumi, and before she knew it, they were already at school. Kobudo, nearly exploding, thinks she's the one behind this. She assumes they might be neighbors, which means they could have met Narumi's sister too, so they weren't alone. Moreover, he was waiting for Kagurazaka by the streetlight yesterday. Koda realizes these thoughts keep her on edge. Feeling tense, her curiosity spikes. Kodo can't help but wonder what she might do next. After a moment, she decides to ask something. With a stone-cold expression, he inquires what it is, and she repeats her question. Suddenly losing her composure, she leaps toward the boy, declaring it's about Kagurazaka. He looks puzzled and asks what she means, while she mentions it's odd for them to arrive at school together today. She adds, Narumi claims the girl is his childhood friend, which makes Koto question that internally. He elaborates that she was his first love, and she thinks, first love. It was her who initiated the whole Pedroza situation, but ultimately he was mistaken, feeling as if he's still dreaming. Koto hears him say it's the first time he's felt this joyful, and she senses it, trembling. They linger in silence for a bit longer. Finally, she breaks the silence and asks, "By the way, you didn't take any pictures here, did you?" The girl stands and approaches him, while he wonders if this is really happening. Narumi questions what's happening now, noting they're still on break, so someone might show up. She asks if he's the only one who goes there, and our hero confirms that's true, but still. Mitsuba begins to undress. She inches closer to the boy, blushing as her heart races. She lifts one leg onto the bench, preparing herself. Our hero readies for the photo, calling out, "Mitsuba!" As she poses, she expresses her desire to learn more about him. Feeling a bit shy, she asks if he would share, while making an adorable face. Our hero. A strange sound echoes from outside. Outside, Minami quickly hobbles to avoid being spotted. She suspects it's definitely Mitsubishi, and it seems they were in the middle of something. A bit taken aback, she appears to be facing a relationship crisis. In a setting resembling a bathhouse, two girls share a deeply personal moment. Someone thanks Mitsugawa for accompanying her, and she replies, "Of course, no problem." Mentioning Kagurazaka, she wonders how this all came to be. Earlier at school, Koto observes Pedroza, recalling that intense feeling from before. She realizes it's becoming difficult to maintain control, and because of it, she ended up acting strangely. She concludes that letting him assist with the photo session isn't an issue, but doing it during break was unwise, and ponders, "What on earth is happening in my mind today? Am I losing my grip, or are my thoughts spilling out?" The girl tries to distract herself and confidently strides down the hallway during break until she finds her friend, grabs her, and pulls her away. She recalls Narumi mentioning the girl was his first love and a childhood friend. While cleaning the classroom, she panics, unable to stop thinking about it. She reflects on how a childhood friend being his first love is surprising, and just then, someone shouts her name, startling her. It's Kagurazaka, who says she wants to speak with her after school and asks if she has a moment. And there they are at the bathhouse. The girl inquires if Mitsuba enjoys baths, and she confirms, prompting Minami to say they can chat as long as they like. But Koto wonders what the girl wants to discuss. Taking her hand, Minami says, "Let's go inside," and the girl tells the grandmother she's back again, receiving a warm welcome from inside. While bathing, Minami apologizes for unexpectedly dragging her there. She explains that she's not great at inviting people out, but Koto reassures her it's fine, saying she was just surprised and there's no need for apologies. The girl expresses her desire to talk to her soon, which is why she's genuinely glad she came along. Koto realizes the girl is truly sweet. Mitsurita says she's happy they can be friends and asks her to call her Koto from now on, to which the other girl happily replies she can be Minami. Koto thinks that even though she felt nervous when Minami invited her out, she never expected her to be such a lovely person. They chat about their soft skin while lathering up. She mentions that her favorite body wash leaves the skin soft, and Koto giggles, saying it tickles. Minami asks, "Miss, was my service satisfactory?" Mitsuba blushes, prompting the other girl to say it was just instinct, but it was an adorable reaction. Later, the two girls unwind in a hot spring bath, declaring this place is paradise. Koto inquires if she's settled into the school, to which the girl responds affirmatively, mentioning everyone's kindness and Mirumi's presence. Blushing from the heat, she adds that she and Koto have become friends. Mitsuha, on the other side of the bath, finds her charming. Koto expresses surprise at discovering the girl and the stone-faced boy were childhood pals, prompting her to ask how close they truly are. The girl apologizes to Minami, revealing she spotted the two of them together during lunch. As she begins to ask if they are dating, Koto suddenly jumps up, interrupting her. She quickly clarifies that it's nothing like that. Just regular friends. Yes, just friends. Nothing odd, nothing special. Minami nods in understanding, noting that Mirumi seems different now. His eyes have softened. Mitsuba looks taken aback. The girl remarks that this is the old Mirumi she remembers, and Koto thinks to herself how relieved she is that nothing strange happened. She recalls moving away before starting elementary school, and during her farewell party, Narumi gifted her a hair clip. Koto asks if that's the one she always wears, and she replies that it's super cute. The girl agrees, adding it became her signature style, making her very happy. Mitsuba expresses her desire to know where it was bought, only to find out it was from Stoneface. Minami mentions her shock upon returning and hearing everyone call him Stoneface, prompting Koto to ask if he was like that as a child. The girl laughs, saying not at all, but then recalls something and adds that now that she thinks about it, perhaps Stoneface is just exceptionally good at pretending. The other girl responds, maybe. Koto states that while it's tough to read his thoughts with that expression, she knows he's not truly like that. He possesses a kind heart and is open to all sorts of things. She shares that he accepted one of her wild requests without a second thought. That boy is reliable and genuinely good, yet it seems everyone misjudges him based solely on his demeanor. Minami smiles, saying, Kabuto, you look even more beautiful when you talk about Narumi. Koto, flustered, insists that's not true and that she's not interested at all, while the other girl claims that only makes it more suspicious. Mitsuba chimes in, come on, you know what I mean. You knew him back then. The girl recalls that after the farewell party, Narumi came to visit her. He showed her a rock she had given him when they first met. He's kept it all this time, and it reminds him of her whenever he sees it. That's why he gifted her the hair clip as a thank you. Yamirumi bids farewell to Minami. Crying, he promises they will always be friends. The girl reflects that she always thought he'd never change his expression, and witnessing him cry for her was truly remarkable. Kono remarks that's so sweet, unable to picture Stoneface doing that, while the other girl agrees. She adds that she also believes Narumi is a good person. You're too Kato, and that's why I'm fully supporting you. Mitsuha, confused, asks, support? What do you mean? Minami touches Koto's chest, urging her to listen to her own heart. Koto appears overwhelmed by a certain feeling. Her heart races uncontrollably. Is this what love feels like? A beautiful, innocent girl with a heart of gold. One morning, Minami prepares for school, realizing it's been 2 weeks since her transfer. Returning here after a decade, she's gradually acclimating to the school. Finally, she picks up a hair accessory and exclaims, there. At school, everyone greets each other with good mornings, and she thinks how nice it is to attend school with Narumi, her childhood friend. Thanks to him, she's made even more friends, and every day is a blast. A girl calls out to Minami, and she cheerfully responds. Back in class, she thanks him for assisting with the coursework, expressing how great it is to receive tips on how everything functions. Stoneface tells her she doesn't need to thank him, while she admits it's the first time she's adjusted to a school this quickly. Mirumi offers help, saying she shouldn't hesitate to reach out. She glances at her friend, thinking she knew it. With him around, everything truly feels wonderful. As our hero observes her, she becomes embarrassed, insisting it's nothing and apologizing for bringing it up. The boy casually asks, is that the hair clip I gave you? The girl confirms, and he replies, I'm glad I was right. Otherwise, that would have been awkward. Excitedly, she says she really loves that hair clip. Our hero responds in that case, the stone you gave me. Later at his home, he presents the stone, noting that while its color has changed slightly, it remains the same. The girl beams with joy upon seeing it. She then asks if he still has the stone, and our hero affirms, revealing that it was the first gift he ever received from a friend. The girl is taken aback, asking if he's serious. That's why he cherishes it, usually keeping it in that box over there, surprising the girl. Suddenly she realizes something. What should I do? I ended up visiting Narumi's house without even realizing it. Despite promising to support Koto, her curiosity got the better of her. Our hero asks Minami if she's all right, and caught off guard, she stutters but replies yes. He apologizes for bringing her there without prior notice, causing her heart to race. Seeing her again feels amazing. Minami wonders if he happens to have a photo album from that era, and he replies that he thinks there's something on the shelf. She drags a chair over, insisting she'll retrieve it, while he warns her to be cautious and suggests she should try instead. The girl announces she found it, while Narumi mentions there's also some disorganized stuff from the club up there. Suddenly, she tumbles off the chair. Yelling to watch out, he catches her. She apologizes, and he reassures her that it's fine, but to please be careful. She abruptly turns around. Panic sets in as she thinks, oh no, what should I do with this strange feeling? She recalls how her parents' constant moving meant she was always leaving friends behind. Minami never imagined someone like him could exist. Someone who still remembers her after all this time. Yet, She recalls her friend Koto saying that even if he's hard to read, he's not really like that. Leaning against the shelf, she ponders. She contemplates what to do, remembering Koto's words. Then she takes his hand, showing him her racing heart. "I promise to support you." Suddenly, he calls out Kagurazaka, and she jumps in surprise, trying to regain her balance. But the shock causes her to fall. He looks up just in time to see her plummet, landing squarely on his face. She lands right on his face. He panics beneath her, feeling suffocated. In desperation, she asks if Mirumi is all right, apologizing profusely. Barely conscious, he mutters that it's really warm. The girl blushes and calls out his name. Time passes at our hero's place. He remains there, completely out of it. She breathes a sigh of relief that he's okay, admitting she never thought her clumsiness could create such chaos. Upset, she laments that if she hadn't come, none of this would have happened, but saying no would have felt odd. While lying there, he softly murmurs Minami, causing her to blush. She notes that even in sleep, he maintains a stoic expression. Laughing, she thinks he could be considered cute, even with that serious face. She lingers for a while, just watching, her heart racing. Finally, she musters the courage to touch his hair. Leaning in, she kisses his forehead, only realizing what she did afterward. In shock, she thinks, "What did I just kiss?" "I'm so sorry for intruding." Embarrassed, she bolts from his house. Someone grips our hero's arm tightly. On the other side, someone holds his hand firmly. Kona looks flushed and breathless. Both girls cling to Narumi in fear. Kota begs Pedroso not to abandon her. Minami states she can't continue. Our hero stutters, asking if everything is all right. But both girls shout no in unison and hug him tightly. Koto inquires if he's still there. Immediately, she apologizes while Narumi reassures her it's fine. Our hero thinks, no way, I can't believe I'm in this situation. A bus arrives, and the man instructs everyone to line up. Today marks the annual field trip, a highlight for students. Stoneface thinks, a place where gloomy folks like me wouldn't get to go without an opportunity like this. Instructions are given to split into groups and enjoy. Our hero spots two girls rushing toward him. Kotal and Minami, hand in hand, declare they're going with the Stoneface. He's taken aback, thinking he can't believe he's in the same group as them. Minami mentions she thought he'd skip today, since he doesn't seem like the type to enjoy this. He explains that last year he wandered alone, not speaking to anyone, leaving the girls surprised. This year he's thrilled to be with Mitsuhara and Kagurazaka. The girls look at him in astonishment. In the next moment, they exclaim, "Let's go!" They relish their time in the park, taking the opportunity to try out various rides. Later, the girls are reeling after exiting a haunted house. Our hero muses about how long it all lasted. He feels a different kind of nervousness, especially with the haunted house looming. Minami points out that Koto was the one eager to enter, even though she was the most frightened. Koto insists that visiting a park means facing the haunted house. As they ponder their next move, Koto appears lost in thought. She suspects this anxiety stems from the haunted house experience. In a moment of panic, she recalls acting strangely, wondering if Stoneface might misinterpret her fear as interest. Koto can't shake the thought, unable to enjoy herself until our hero calls her name. It draws nearer, pointing out a spiderweb in her hair from the haunted house, causing her to blush. Suddenly, she stands up, thanking him and suggesting they move on. Kona thinks she needs to chill. If he notices her odd behavior, he might avoid her. Minami is right. She's definitely thinking about him. She wonders what Stoneface thinks about her growing tension. Does he see her as just a girl? What should she do? She also wonders if he might have feelings for her. As they walk, Minami feels her nerves intensifying. She can't wait to share with Koto what happened the other day. Despite her fear of haunted houses, she should tell Narumi. She glances at Koto, realizing her expression isn't very feminine at the moment. Narumi wears his usual unreadable expression, creating a slightly tense atmosphere. She decides it's time to be upfront with Koto about her feelings. Later, still at the amusement park, Koto asks what to do since she's so preoccupied with Stoneface, and Minami notes her nervousness. The girl admits she was taken aback when he unexpectedly touched her head, and Minami adds that he often acts without realizing it. She confesses that her mind is constantly occupied with thoughts of what Stoneface thinks of her. Minami ponders, "Koto, just so you know, I visited Narumi's house recently and apologize for not mentioning their conversation about kindergarten. He still cherishes the stone she gifted him back then and even showed it off." She reflects on how she always had to start anew due to frequent moves, but Narumi remembered her, which meant a lot. She realizes that Narumi has become significant in her life. Meanwhile, the two girls exchange glances. Minami expresses her desire to support them, but she insists she can't abandon Irumi, catching Koto off guard. Koto interrupts, asking, "What are you talking about? You should have told me sooner." Mitsuba admits it was a surprise, but for the first time she understands how challenging love can be, smiling at the girl. She acknowledges that without Minami, she might not have realized this was love. She adds that Minami is the one who introduced her to this feeling, and even if they become rivals, she could never resent her. The girl looks touched and says, "Koto." Kono states that she's the only one she can confide in about Stoneface, but she declares, "I will never give up. I refuse to lose." Minami is taken aback, but excitement quickly follows as she agrees. Koto grabs her lunch and heads out, saying she'll go ahead, leaving her friend behind. She hurries and catches up with our hero, apologizing for the delay. Narumi asks if Kaibarazaka is still in line, but Kabanoti leans in, suggesting they have some fun. Our hero looks puzzled as Koto whispers, "Let's snap a few pictures over there," leaving him in disbelief. Still at the amusement park, Kodam mentions it's been ages since she rode a Ferris wheel, recalling her last ride was in middle school. She asks, "What about you, Pedroso?" But our hero is frozen in fear, huddled in his corner. Concerned, she asks if he's all right, and he admits he's actually afraid of heights. The girl seriously questions why he didn't mention it sooner, but Narumi replies it wasn't necessary and that he'll manage for the elf. He inquires if they're taking pictures there, and she responds that, of course, she doesn't visit amusement parks often. Looking at him, she thinks that beyond that, she just wants to be alone with him. She recalls earlier moments when she was curious about his thoughts on her. Feeling shy, she stammers, "You know, Pedro, so I—" Suddenly, she jumps as the Ferris wheel shakes, likely due to Pedroso's trembling. The girl asks again if he's okay, and he reassures her, asking her not to worry. Suddenly, she leans in and takes his hand, saying, "Pedroso." She gazes at him shyly while our hero waits. Being kind and caring, she says, "Calm down, Pedroso." Worried about his blank expression, she reassures him that they're almost halfway there. Then she encourages him, and our hero thanks her. Marumi thinks he's scared, and being so close, she can't help but feel his heart racing. A little while later, still on the Ferris wheel, she exclaims how incredible it is, urging him to look down at the breathtaking view, and Pedro agrees. The girl mentions that being up high isn't so bad and checks if he's calmed down a bit, to which Narumi responds, "Yes, thanks to you." Then she announces it's time for a photo. She urges him to hurry or they'll miss the perfect shot at the top of the Ferris wheel. Suddenly, she begins to take off her clothes. Kona thinks she seems more anxious than usual and wonders if it's due to the height, but she doubts it. In the next moment, she realizes something and blushes, having noticed her feelings for him. It's the first time she's ever posed for a picture. She strikes a pose for the photo in a significant manner. Moments later, our hero announces that the picture is ready. He takes the phone, noticing her slight nervousness, and comments that even she gets jittery in high places. Her expression is different from usual. She sees her own face in the photo as he asks, "Didn't you do a hand pose? The pictures turned out well." Kodo remarks that they look fantastic because Pedroso is quite skilled, and she feels very happy. Narumi expresses that he felt secure when she held his hand and thanks her. The girl replies she's glad to hear that, even if she might have overdone it a bit. He says he's pleased to assist the elf and wants to support her in everything. The girl beams at him, expressing her happiness and gratitude for everything. Then she calls out to Pedroso, asking him to look over. They take a photo of the two of them together. He looks puzzled, and she laughs, pointing out that he still has that same blank expression. She suggests they share stories next time and that he should choose where to go since he always asks her to tag along. She mentions she'd like to visit his favorite spots too. And of course, he should snap some pictures of himself as well. She promises, and our hero stutters a reluctant yes. He mentions that when he relaxes, his legs start to tremble again. He asks if she took a picture of him, and the girl says it was fun. Our hero pleads for her to delete it, but she refuses. He insists he always looks too serious in photos, but Kodo points out that's just how he is. A little later, still at the amusement park, the two arrive and spot Minami. She exclaims loudly that this isn't fair. Koda apologizes for being late and expresses her sincere regret. Minami comments that the photos she received of Narumi are stunning, while our hero asks if she sent the picture to Kagurisaka. Koto decides to take a photo of the three of them, and a girl encourages her. With a smile, she captures a picture of her friends. Kodo asks if he's always going to keep that expression, and he replies that he's genuinely enjoying himself, prompting Minami to say that if he's having fun, that's wonderful. On another day, a bunch of school friends are singing and having a blast at karaoke, and one of them remarks on how loud they are. Pedroza is there too, thinking he never expected to find himself back at karaoke. He reflects on how things unfolded, leading him to be dragged into a karaoke room with Mitsue's friends. He recalls that he hasn't been there since that rainy day with Mitsuba. Suddenly, someone offers the microphone. A boy asks how he managed to get along with Kodo, the Iron Wall, and another chimes in, wanting to know as well. Our hero downplays it, saying they don't really get along, but the boys insist they make an odd couple and urge him to tell the truth. So, he admits that she seems more comfortable talking to Pedroso, thinking it might be because he knows something about the elf. The boy declares it's Pedroso's turn now, and he responds that he only knows one song. He selects his song, and someone asks what he chose. As he begins to sing, he expresses his hatred, resentment filling his heart. One of them is taken aback by the emotional depth of his song, finding it completely unexpected, while others smile. Mirumi thinks the others are having a great time and feels a bit happy. The boy comments that Pedroso has broken the ice, finding him easier to talk to than anticipated. This is Karo, and he's quite sociable. Another boy praises him and asks if anyone wants to grab a drink, while our hero thinks this is Tanaka, who has good looks. Then the girl remarks that it's impossible for him not to know how to dance since it's trending, and Pedroso thinks Mocha is a true gal who would get along well with his sister. Kodav arrives and apologizes for the sudden invitation. The boy assures him it's no trouble because everyone has been really friendly, while the girl feels happy, appreciating their kindness. She blushes slightly while sipping her juice and mentions karaoke. Kodama realizes this is their first visit to this place together since that last time. She turns to the boy, calling out, "Hey, Pedroso," and asks if he remembers, mentioning the memories tied to this spot. The boy watches her intently as she says, "Don't tell me you forgot." He stutters, insisting he remembers. How could he forget? Kodo chimes in, "You're so mean, Pedroso. I'm serious." Then she grins, saying she was just joking. Our hero is captivated. She looks stunning. Leaning in close, she whispers, "Hey, want to sneak away just the two of us for a bit?" Outside that building, Mitsuba stretches and yawns, expressing her enjoyment of karaoke with everyone, but admits it can get tiring. Our hero is surprised by her honesty. This time, they arrived a bit earlier, likely due to the large group, and Narumi seems to be enjoying herself. The boy claims he had fun and asks if it showed, but Koto replies no, saying he looked too serious. Teasing him, she says, "Oh, so you were having fun." Mitsurfa notes he still looks expressionless, but now she feels she understands him a bit more. Surprised, our hero tells her she's the only one who gets him. The girl seizes the moment and asks if he's happy now. Out of nowhere, two boys approach, asking if she's alone and inviting her to have fun with them. Both are taken aback as the boys continue, complimenting her cuteness and asking if she's a model. The black-haired one inquires about her name, while the one in the cap asks which school she attends. Suddenly, Narumi stands up and steps in front of the girl, stating seriously that she's his friend, leaving Kodo astonished as he takes her arm. The boys tell them to back off, insisting that even if they're friends, they don't match at all. The annoyed girl hugs Narumian, saying they were interrupted. While the boys claim she has poor taste, Kodo trembles, holding hands with our hero. Finally, the two boys walk away, losing interest. Suddenly, he tumbles onto her, his face landing right on her soft features. The girl blushes, telling Pedroso to calm down. Our hero apologizes, insisting it was an accident and nothing serious. Bystanders gather, asking if there was a fight and if they're okay. Cavato grabs his hand, suggesting they should head back. She expresses her fear, questioning what's wrong with those people. Then she grips the boy's arm, asking if he's all right. She thanks him, saying he was incredible. Our hero stands frozen in shock as the girl says she'll head on ahead. On another day at our boy's house, he's in disbelief, asking, "What happened here?" A group of girls fills his house, all studying, while some explain things to others, making him feel drowsy. He never imagined he'd host a study session at his place for final exams before summer break. The girl asks if he's okay, or if he didn't understand something, but he replies that he's fine. Coda Escalades might be warning her not to doze off. Meanwhile, Mocha jumps up and hugs the girl, exclaiming she didn't expect Pedroso to have such a beautiful sister and wants to take her home. Mitsuba remarks that Mocha really loves girls, while our hero notices smoke rising from Minami's head. It's too chaotic for any real studying. Kodo tells them to stop fooling around, but the roomie suggests it's time for a break. The girl reminds him they're in his house, but Narumi adds that everyone is having fun. Mamie says he's like the family photo album, and the girls excitedly express their desire to see it. Our hero feels a bit embarrassed, as she explains she found it while organizing the other day. She asks Kodo if she wants to see it too, and the girl agrees. Everyone gathers around the table looking at the photos. They find one from elementary school, commenting on how adorable they look, while Mamie notes her brother hasn't changed at all. She recalls how Narumi would always hide from their mom, and another girl points out that Maine resembles her dad, which Maine agrees with. She explains her father passed away from an illness when she was 3, so her memories are faint. Yet she remembers how loved he was. Kano asks if there are more photos. Our hero replies no, feeling embarrassed. Inadvertently, he knocks over a glass of juice, stammering an apology and saying he'll fetch a towel. The girl feels a bit shy, but tells him to stay calm. Kono shields herself as Narumi asks if she's okay, apologizing, while Mocha declares this is a big problem. She hugs Kono, asking if the boy saw anything, while our hero, looking away, insists he didn't. Kono inquires about the album's condition, and the girls assure her nothing happened to it, suggesting she should change clothes. She thanks them and apologizes. A while later, Kodo apologizes for taking so long, and everyone reassures her it's fine. Our hero is stunned when he sees her arriving in his sister's shirt. She awkwardly apologizes to Mamie, saying it's a bit tight. Pedroso is in shock, thinking, "What is this?" She asks if she can borrow another one, and Mocha tells our hero that now he's seen, but turning his head away, he insists he didn't. She tries on another shirt, but it's also too small, and Yurumi grows increasingly tense as she attempts yet another very short outfit. He realizes, as expected from an elf, that it doesn't matter what she wears. Whatever she dons, it always ends up looking alluring. Mamie won't admit defeat until the end. She claims her body is childlike, but Minami counters saying she's suffered emotionally, while Kono apologizes. Mocha approaches our hero, declaring there's no other option. It's time for Pedroso, and he, puzzled, asks, "What?" Kono tries on an outfit that appears excessively large this time. With a bright smile, she believes this one suits her better. The girls cheer, thrilled she finally found a fitting outfit. Our hero muses that Mitsuba is the most admired student, and the elf is the queen of selfies, now sporting his clothes. She lifts the shirt to her nose, commenting, "It smells like Pedroso." He feels a bit shy. He thinks that was risky, too much power, and for a moment, he even forgot to breathe, while Kono insists it's time to hit the books. She inquires if the girls have plans for the break, and Mamie mentions part-time work and gaming, while Mocha chimes in that she'll join too. She mentions her brother stays home every summer, explaining he never remembers making any vacation plans. Minami has a suggestion. "If the exam results are favorable, I want to hit the beach with everyone." She eagerly asks for their thoughts. Our hero is taken aback. The girls agree it sounds great and feel motivated to study now. Marumi envisions all of them going together. It's hard not to picture the beach with them. Everyone passed their exams and summer vacation had just begun. Someone exclaims it's happening, surprised it's Pedroso, noting they all showed up for this part-time gig. Our hero wishes his friends luck, and they express their gratitude. He adds he wants to see everyone in swimsuits. He grabs the food and returns, wearing his usual cheerful expression. Suddenly, someone calls out his name. "Good afternoon!" Koda waves, signaling she's over here. She thanks him for the food, while Mocha, being adorably cute, points out they're right there. Minami is thrilled about the yakisoba, and her sister urges him to hurry. He apologizes for the wait, thinking how stunning they all are. It's blinding to look directly at them. Kodal approaches, asking for his opinion on her new bikini. She wonders if it's pretty, and our hero feels a bit bashful. Pedro, a bit of a scammer, agrees it's really lovely, causing her to blush. He stammers his thanks for the food once more. She asks if it was crowded, and he confirms. The girls exclaim they're starving, excited for the yakisoba. They inquire about Carl Runtanaka, and our hero mentions they wish to join them. Minami admits she's never spent time with friends during summer break. She expresses her happiness to be with everyone. Everyone appears joyful, while our hero maintains his usual blank stare. Someone tells Minami they will create many memories. Time flies as they enjoy the beach, playing sports and having a blast in the water. Marumi reflects that thanks to Minami, everyone made it to the beach, and hanging out with friends, there was once a dream. Buried in the sand, he finds it surprisingly enjoyable. On top of that, Mitsuhara and the others look stunning in their swimsuits. He thinks it's fortunate he came, believing he's being discreet until someone points out he's still buried. Our hero asks Minami if she came to unwind, and she replies no. She expresses a desire to play with him, to which he responds, "Oh." She suggests they go for a swim, and moments later, they're in the water. Minami, brimming with excitement, splashes water at him. He appears slightly panicked. She asks if he can't swim, and he explains he's always been a loner, prompting Minami to say she misunderstood. Suddenly, a wave crashes over them, and the girl calls for Narumi while he shouts for help. She tells him to relax, assuring him he can still stand, and he insists he's fine. But then, he feels something soft. The girl is taken aback and blushes. She screams, and our hero apologizes, saying it was unintentional, to which she replies, "It's all right." Minami exclaims, "What do I do? My bikini's gone." Our hero wonders if the wave took it and what he can do, while Narumi asks the same. She suggests it might still be dry somewhere. Narumi adds they need to cover up. The girl picks up some seaweed, curious if it might do the trick. Next, she grabs seashells but avoids anything too eye-catching. They brainstorm alternatives, and she mentions an idea, apologizing. She wraps her arms around him from behind, saying she'll stay there until she finds it. He's taken aback. He thinks the moment is quite tender and murmurs Kagurisaka. Suddenly, she instructs him not to move. He worries they might be bait, feeling conflicted about his thoughts on the lovely Minami. She apologizes once more. Out of nowhere, a ball lands beside them. She apologizes for it flying away, while others point out its location. She wades into the water, searching for the ball, and bumps into the boy and girl. Minami urges Narumi to stay close, and he feels uneasy, pondering his next move. Narumi suddenly senses something wrapping around his feet, and wonders what it could be. He asks a girl if she spotted a ball, and she replies, "It went that way." Pedroso glances at the girl, saying, "My bad there." Unexpectedly, he pulls her underwater with him. He dives down and retrieves the bikini tangled around his feet. He surfaces moments later, and Mocha exclaims he startled her. He apologizes, and then Minami jumps up screaming, while Mocha remarks, "Even you, Minami." The girl insists they frighten her, but Minami apologizes, claiming the ball hit her. As Mocha waves, Koda ponders, asking Pedroso. Minami remarks it was a close call. Our hero concludes they somehow escaped it. She apologizes to the boy for making him swim like that, but she expresses her gratitude for his help, and he replies, "No problem." Then she admits feeling embarrassed and suggests keeping it a secret. Narumi is slightly taken aback. Suddenly, Minami suggests returning to the others while he feels that familiar sensation on his back and his heart racing. Mocha shouts, "Here it comes," as she retrieves the ball, recapping that Narumi and his friends went to the beach. Minami shares it was fantastic in the girls' hub, while Mamie comments on Muka's impressive sports skills. The girls chat animatedly while our hero observes from the tent. He reflects on the recent events. Minami seems carefree and joyful, while he can't stop thinking about it. Suddenly, Koda appears, looking concerned, asking what's wrong. He replies he's just a bit fatigued, and the girl admits she feels the same. Kodos is playing in the ocean, which takes a lot of energy, and the boy agrees. Then she says, "Hey Petroso," pulling out her phone, asking if he'd like to take some pictures of her while she relaxes. The girl mentions wanting to capture some beach photos and asks where would be nice. He responds, "It doesn't matter. You look stunning in any shot." But he admits he never expected to enjoy time with the other girls besides Mitsuha. Kono explains it's because he's so much fun, which is why she suggested he should talk more, and the boy realizes how close she is. With a smile, she says, "I might seem like this, but I notice things, you know." Our hero thinks, "Here I am at the beach with the elf, just the two of us, and the view is breathtaking." They linger there, soaking in the beautiful scenery. Then Kodo tells him to look as the sun sets, and he remarks on its beauty. He closes his eyes, thinking it hurts. Kodo thinks, "I'm watching the sunset alone with Pedroso." This feels like a date, and she's genuinely happy, blushing slightly. Pedroso calls out to Mitsu, startling her as she asks, "What?" He suggests it's better to take one here. She inquires, "Really?" The girl crouches in the water, striking a pose, saying she's ready for the photo as the waves crash around her. She recalls feeling truly happy when he complimented her new bikini. And then there's the swimsuit that reveals so much skin to Pedroso. As the boy captures the moment, she thinks, "My beloved." Blushing, she feels incredibly embarrassed and more nervous than usual, wondering why. Out of nowhere, she leaps towards the boy, exclaiming to wait, leaving him bewildered. In that instant, our protagonist captures the moment. He apologizes, mentioning that he ended up snapping the picture. The girl admits she felt embarrassed all of a sudden, prompting our hero to ask why. Mitsuba awkwardly responds, "Right? Why would that be? I ended up posing strangely. Let's try again." Pedro chimes in, saying no, it actually turned out quite adorable. Koto blushes and inquires, "Really?" She adds that if he thinks so, then she thanks him, saying she plans to share that one. Later, on the bus ride home, Narumi wonders if all the girls have dozed off, and Koto confirms they have. Our hero remarks, well, they were really giving it their all. As Koto pulls out her phone, she notices a plethora of notifications. She stares at her phone, astonished by what greets her. Our hero asks, "What's the matter?" Startled. The girl wonders what she should do. Feeling a bit flustered, she muses if it might have gone viral. In a clothing store, Koto exclaims, "This is incredible," while sharing her phone in disbelief. Koto remarks, "Who would have guessed that photo from the beach would gain such popularity?" Our hero agrees, saying it's fantastic, and Koto nods. She concludes it's all thanks to Pedroso, who happily acknowledges being a fan of the elf. The girl ponders what this sensation could be. Narumi asks what's wrong, and she replies it's nothing. Then Koto inquires about what he's up to. He explains he was asked by the manager to adjust some outfits, so he's working there. Narumi recalls all he did for Koto, and someone was quite impressed, thinking it was remarkable. The girl praises him, noting that his hobby of doing chores has made him quite skilled. Koto asks if he needs to fix it, and he confirms while someone calls the manager, who says she'll be right there. Pedroso asks if there's another customer present, and the girl replies yes, finding it odd since it's such a secluded spot. That customer comments it looks nice, but she feels something's lacking as she peeks out from behind the curtain. She steps out of the fitting room, asking the manager for a look and requesting an honest opinion. All dressed up, she asks for feedback and whether there's a demand for that style. The manager assures her it looks fantastic, and the girl admits she always wanted to cosplay this character but lacked the courage. The manager tells her not to overthink it. Then the girl states, "Of course, I want to embody this character. Bearing this name carries a lot of responsibility." Kona thinks the girl is impressive, while our hero begins to say something. Suddenly, a girl spots them. She asks the manager who that stunning person is, and the manager explains she's a regular customer, just like her. She mentions that all other styles differ. She always comes to buy outfits for photo shoots. The girl admires her hair and figure. Out of nowhere, she approaches and gets very close to Koto. She examines her closely and apologizes. Inquiring if she can see her collarbone, Koto shyly responds, "What?" Asking for permission, she slightly opens the girl's shirt. Then she takes a quick glance a bit lower too. That girl gasps, exclaiming, "I knew it. Those marks, that adorable wavy hair." Finally, she asks, "Could it be the elf?" Everyone is left speechless. Trying to deny it, Koto says, "What do you mean? I don't know this person." She insists she has no idea who that is. Our hero states that can't be true and asks if she's the cosplayer Tekken who always replies to the elf's posts. Then the girl admits, "Well, I didn't expect anyone to recognize me." She introduces herself as Tamari Hashia, saying it's a pleasure, and mentions she always comments on the ELF's photos. She's a huge fan. Kano recalls now that she's the student cosplayer with over 30,000 followers. She always noticed her, but never imagined they'd meet like this. The girl says the pleasure is hers, and she learns a lot from the elf's angles and editing. She mentions she's such a fan that she reviews all the elf's posts every night before bed. She apologizes for rambling. She never thought someone so gorgeous could take such daring and provocative photos. Koto expresses her happiness, and the girl eagerly asks if it's true. She even glances quickly at our hero before refocusing on the elf. She admits it's a daring request, but would the elf be open to collaborating with her? Both are taken aback. She mentions she's been searching for a partner, and due to her shyness, she lacks friends. Our hero notices her mood shifts and finds her a bit peculiar. Conan expresses regret, stating she doesn't grasp much about this, while the girl observes her. Feeling a bit let down, she inquires if that means it's a no. The girl appears quite shocked, and judging by her expression, so does our hero. She turns to Pedroso for advice, asking why she's consulting him. She steps closer and finally takes a good look at him. She questions if he's an acquaintance of the elf. She mentions that perhaps the photographer she knew was a guy, but she never expected that. Best to keep it under wraps. Kano clarifies that this isn't a roommate. He always has a blank expression but is genuinely kind, having assisted a lot with the recent photos. Mary admits she's feeling envious. There's a gallant aura that lingers. It's somewhat irritating. Yet his talent is legendary. Wrapping up the discussion, she states, "So, Narumi, could you take our pictures?" Our hero, in shock, responds, "Me? What?" Narumi arrives at a building, thinking, this is the place. He recalls meeting a well-known cosplayer at the Mitsuha clothing store, and upon seeing Koto, she instantly recognized her as the elf. He was astonished when she suggested taking photos together. He still can't believe he's going to photograph them and wonders if this is really acceptable. Suddenly, Kodaro shows up, cheerfully greeting Pedrosa with a bright good morning. Our hero returns the greeting, noticing she looks stunning today. Out of the blue, Murray Arise apologizes for being tardy. Pedro thinks she looks casual, having only seen her in costume before, but she appears really simple. Kodo expresses delight in working with her, and the Gripple compliments her as always, promising to give their best. Narumi thinks she truly fits the role. Suddenly, he feels an overwhelming sense of detachment. She clarifies that one outfit is for a school-themed look, while the other is for a more laid-back occasion. Kona is impressed while at the photography studio. She's never been in a place like this and is genuinely thrilled. Mary mentions she often uses this studio. She adds that seeing the elf happy feels like a dream, and Narumi thinks he's witnessing the interaction between two social media icons. The girl picks something up, stating it's for Narumi. She wants him to take photos with her camera, and our hero, surprised, asks, "Really?" Marubi exclaims it's incredible, but it's an authentic tech pics, asking if he can hold it. He takes the camera, his hands trembling slightly. Meanwhile, Kodo inquires about the cosplay she has in mind, and Tamari hesitantly replies, well, that. She explains she wants to do Futapure, shampoo, and rinse, mentioning they're quite popular even among adults. Kodama expresses her love for it and asks if she's serious. The girl responds with a firm yes. She believes it would perfectly suit the elf. Her instincts tell her so. Kodo asks, "You really think so?" Excited, she begins changing, saying she never thought she'd be doing Futapure. She thinks she watches it every week. Her favorite is shampoo. It feels like a dream for her, but as she finishes changing, something seems off. She glances at herself shyly, asking, "Wait, is it supposed to look like this?" Tamari assures her the shampoo costume looks fantastic, while the girl thinks it's more revealing than expected. How embarrassing. The girl exclaims she looks so beautiful she might faint. Her excitement is through the roof, while Kodo warns her not to touch there. Later, as the boy prepares the camera, someone apologizes for the delay. Tamari appears already in cosplay. Pedroso thinks she looks stunning, but this is the real Tekkanen. She looks entirely different from the earlier Tamari. Our hero asks about Mitsu, and from inside, she shouts that her heart isn't ready yet. Tamari suggests they should start without her. The girl begins to prepare, striking poses and instructing the roomie to capture the shots at the right moment. The boy thinks she's quite skilled at this. Her gaze and stance are completely transformed. It's as if she's a different person. The girl asks if he's gotten used to it already, and Pedroso replies yes. She tells him he's doing well and to keep it up, while our hero thinks she's a true cosplayer. Tamari says, out of nowhere, Kodo bursts in, shouting that Tekka is incredible. In unison, our hero and Tamari exclaim, "Elf Mitsuha!" Brimming with excitement, she exclaims that the tech session was so fantastic she couldn't resist, having never done serious cosplay before. Taka remarks she resembles an angel, while our hero insists she's so stunning she could be the real deal. Wakoto questions, "Really?" Kodos comments that her costume is quite different from what she usually wears. The other girl takes her hand, urging her to just focus on the camera. She suggests they start with some regular photos, and Mitsuhara nods in agreement. Narumi thinks about how wonderful it is to see both of them together in this moment. Feeling emotional, Taka hugs the girl, saying, "I can't believe I'm doing a photo shoot with an elf." Our anxious hero observes the scene unfold. Tekka continues to hum while Kodo giggles, claiming she's tickling her. Narumi realizes that at first glance it seems like mere play, but Koto is increasingly engaged, proving her professionalism. The cosplayer praises Pedroso's keen sense of style and skill. Our hero expresses gratitude, explaining that her charm allows him to press the shutter effortlessly. With the tension lifted, Koto announces she needs to use the restroom and dashes away. Taka leans closer, examining the photos on the laptop. She analyzes them, thinking, "I knew it. I noticed it in the recent elf photos." When this boy captures her, the elf's allure seems to intensify. She realizes that when Narumi photographs her with that blank expression, it stirs her desire to show some emotion. Taka swallows hard, pondering her next move. Her body tingles with anticipation, wishing he would take more photos of her. Our hero acknowledges Tekka's initiative, noting how much it helped. With each pose, he can't resist clicking the shutter, then worries aloud if the camera is malfunctioning. The girl stays quiet, not responding, prompting Narumi to call her name. Suddenly, she grabs his hand, pulling him closer. Then she asks, "Could we do a session, just the two of us next time?" A surprised Arumi replies, "A session with me." Our hero swallows nervously. Walking alongside her, he feels quite uncomfortable. Even though Tamari asked about the photographer, he never anticipated it would be at an all-girls school. Feeling tense, Narumi thinks it's just a school, yet wonders why the atmosphere feels so fresh and sweet. As they ascend the stairs, Tamari comments on his excessive sweating, to which he replies that it's a bit warm. She mentions that since the elf photo shoot, her fans have been increasingly drawn to her. Meanwhile, Narumi notices her rapid speech. With a smile, she thanks him for the photo, while he feels a sense of happiness. It seems they've grown a bit closer. The girl expresses gratitude for him walking her. Our hero brushes it off, asking if everything is all right at school. She replies that the teacher approved her work, so there's nothing to worry about. Upon entering an empty classroom, she immediately starts undressing, saying they should get started. Our hero is taken aback. The girl apologizes, explaining that since it's a girls' school, she forgot he was a boy and asks him to turn around. Tamari mentions it's really hot and her neckline is soaked, while Narumi thinks this is a daunting school for girls. After a while, she apologizes for the wait and asks what he thinks of her cosplay. Narumi inquires if it's from an AeroJ, thinking she has quite the unique taste, while the girl requests he use his camera. Finally ready, she declares, "Let's begin." She perches on a desk, striking poses for him, thinking, "Yeah, this looks good." Tamari asks if he's improved his photography skills. Our hero replies he's been studying cameras a bit, hoping to be more useful, while she notes he came prepared. He thinks about capturing the renowned cosplayer, Tekka, and feels it would be rude not to give it his all. As she continues, she notices the sound of the camera clicks has changed, indicating he really has studied. Also, the shutter clicks exactly when she wants it to. Feeling a bit flushed, she thinks this is really impressive. And beyond that, when Narumi gazes at her with that vacant stare, devoid of anything, she wonders if the elf experiences the same feelings. Taka ponders the elf and Narumi, curious about their relationship. Then she decides to ask him how he manages to remain composed in front of such a stunning girl like the elf. Ruby finds it odd to ask such a question out of the blue, while Timori thinks her curiosity is amusing. She ends up asking anyway. She shares that chatting during a shoot is crucial, and the boy nods, indicating he gets it. He admits to being a fan, lacking the arrogance to think otherwise. He just wants to contribute a bit. And to acclimate to all of this, the girl insists he's already adapted, noting that when he photographs the elf, she looks stunning. He exhales deeply, asking if that's true. It's reassuring to hear. Mary pauses, calling him a peculiar man, leaving our hero puzzled, wondering if it was meant as an insult. She admits she's unsure about their relationship, but feels he's genuine, prompting Narumi to flash his best smile. She confides that despite being accustomed to this work, she still receives inappropriate messages. Photographers often request compromising poses, leading to some uncomfortable situations. What baffles her is his lack of facial expressions. She realizes it makes her anxious, yet oddly provides a sense of security. Our hero mentions this is his first experience with such a photo shoot, and that conversing with her is genuinely enjoyable. This leaves the girl both surprised and bashful. He apologizes, explaining he was just feeling joyful, which led to his odd comments, but he thinks he captured some great shots while she appears tense. She covers her face with her hands, calling him such a cheer. Confused, our hero asks what she means, but Tamuri urges him to hurry and show the photos, agreeing that this shouldn't be underestimated. They arrive at a house, awed by its size and beauty. Our hero expresses gratitude to the two, saying, "Even though I invited you on short notice, Kagurazaka." Minami expresses excitement about making new friends, while Koto mentions this is Tamara's house. It's her first time seeing a single-story home, and she's anxious. Our hero can't believe he's visiting Tamari's house with both of them. During the photo session, Tamari, who also lacks many friends, asked him to introduce her to more people. Sitting on the floor, his sister inquires about her pudding, and he thinks, friends. After checking with Koto, he decides to invite Minami first. He rings the doorbell and someone responds, "Hello." It's his first time introducing a friend, making him nervous. Our hero thinks it's terrifying, and the girl says they were expecting him and invites them in. The three enter, saying, "Excuse us." To Mary, dressed in traditional cosplay, she says, "Welcome, thank you for coming today." Kono asks if that's Tamarian, admiring the beautiful kimono, while the girl introduces herself, saying it's a pleasure to meet them. Minami rushes to the girl, saying it's nice to meet her, while Tamari introduces her as a friend of Narumi's, which stings our hero a bit. She inquires if that's her casual outfit, but Tamari, surprised, replies she thought formal attire would be more appropriate. She explains this is her first time hosting friends, and Kono reassures her to just act naturally, while the girl insists she shouldn't feel shy. Feeling a mix of embarrassment and excitement, she dashes off to change, leaving everyone thinking she's adorable. Minami admires her house, and Tamari explains it was a kimono shop for generations, and being an only child, she was quite spoiled. She shares that during trips, her parents indulged her, taking numerous photos to document her growth in studios and elsewhere. Being photographed in flashy outfits became part of her identity, leading her to discover herself through cosplay. Leading them to a room, she says, this is her leisure room collection. Kodama remarks it resembles a store, and the others are in awe. Minami admits she doesn't know much about anime but wants to learn, picking up one of the items. The girl explains it's an eros that was highly sought after and is now quite valuable, while the other girl reacts in shock, exclaiming eroji. Kono asks if those are her photo albums, and Tamari confirms, explaining she sold them at an event and put in a lot of effort for that occasion. Time passes as they browse some manga and then play video games. Excited, the two girls dress in cosplay, leaving the other two amazed and having a blast. Tamari seems to be enjoying herself until she calls out to Narumi. She compliments him on having amazing friends, which catches him off guard. He realizes it's the first time he's seen Tamuri smile like that, and it feels like a good sign. Kono is impressed when she spots a game about Doki Doki memories. She shares that she loved it too. Tamari expresses her adoration for the art style, mentioning it was the first game she ever purchased, though she hasn't played it yet. Then she suggests, if everyone is up for it, how about we play together? Our hero remarks that everyone in it is incredibly attractive, and Tekka asks which character she should start with. The boy in the game replies, "Sorry, I've got things to take care of." Minami expresses her frustration, saying that despite her efforts, nothing changes, prompting Koto to ask what her next move is. She confesses that progress feels impossible, suggesting marriage since the game is notoriously tough, but she never anticipated it would be this challenging. Minami points out that Narumi is a boy, so if anyone should know what to do, it's him. He seems taken aback. Yet, he picks up the controller, ready to take on the challenge. The in-game character thanks him, saying they'll meet again. Kodome expresses disbelief at the marriage advancement, while Minami remarks that it was to be expected. Our protagonist muses that if he wants to spend time with someone special, he should just be himself. This leaves all three girls blushing and astonished. Tekka remarks that he's a man not to be underestimated, while Narumi thinks he's merely being kind. Minami notices Koto blushing, but Koto admits she feels the same. Then, to Koto's surprise, she exclaims, "You too! Don't tell me!" The two girls, now completely flushed, ask in unison, "What?" Our hero, utterly confused, wonders what's happening, while Tamari thinks this guy is really getting on her nerves. Someone exclaims in awe as they arrive at the cosplay event shrine. Koto exclaims that this is cosplay heaven. As people stroll by, admiring the merchandise, our hero is taken aback by the crowd, asking, "What is this?" He heard Teika would be part of the cosplay event and came with Kodu to soak in the atmosphere. Suddenly, a girl cries for help, and he notices she's being swept away by the throng. He grabs her wrist to pull her back, asking if she's all right. She admits she got a bit distracted, while he claims he was lost in thought and warns her to stay close. He offers, "If you don't mind, you can hold on to me." Kodabes responds with a grateful thank you. A moment later, she exclaims in awe, "Oh my God!" The sheer number of cosplayers amazes her, and she thinks it's incredible to see all these characters come to life. Kodu observes she's mesmerized, while our hero realizes she's more of an otaku than he anticipated. Menrubi notices the expected indecency at such an extreme cosplay event and wonders where he should focus his gaze. Koda points out a gathering. He suggests to Pedroso that they should head in that direction. The boy agrees, and they weave through the crowd to get closer. They spot Teika surrounded by fans clamoring for her attention. She strikes a few poses for photos as the crowd goes wild. Kodo nudges Pedroso, pointing out how beautiful Temeri looks. Our hero thinks she truly shines like a seasoned pro. Suddenly she spots them and shouts, "It's covered in Arumi. She can't resist this kind of energy." Teika apologizes to the crowd, announcing she's taking a break, while her friends praise her performance. Koda apologizes for interrupting the shoot, but Temari reassures her it's fine. It was time for a break anyway. With a smile, she says it's great that Kane, while her friends think she looks genuinely happy and adorable. Kodo recognizes the character and exclaims how amazing it looks. Temari replies she knew Kodo would recognize it, having put effort into every detail. She inquires if they've explored the event yet, but Mitsubishi mentions they came straight to see her. She responds, "Perfect. I wanted to greet a few people." She invites them to join her, saying she can show them around. They enjoy the event, chatting with others and checking out some products, a few of which are a bit embarrassing. Konu excitedly shares she bought an adorable outfit and feels really happy. The other two think she's honestly quite cute. She finds it unfair that some people have exclusive outfits and tech assists, which makes her eager to return for the next event. Mitsuba agrees, saying it was definitely worth the trip. Suddenly she dashes off, exclaiming that Grohl over there has a super cute outfit too, and she wants to check it out. Taka comments that Mitsuba seems to be having a blast, which is really nice. Once again, she thanks Kodo for the help and expresses gratitude to Narumi. Our hero brushes it off, saying it's all thanks to her for inviting them. He mentions he got to see her cosplay up close, and if Mitsube is enjoying herself, then he's happy too. She quietly remarks that he's a good person, but something about him unsettles her. Ben Narumi calls her by her last name, Hashia, but she corrects him, saying he can just call her Temari. Our hero is taken aback, but she clarifies that everyone calls her Temari, and it's no issue. So if he's okay with it, he can just add Mari. The girl beams, her cheeks flushed, which makes the boy feel a bit bashful too. He glances away, feeling awkward about having called her by name, even though he's already thought it. Saying her name out loud makes him anxious. Teika compliments the outfit, and Kodo's face lights up with joy. Out of nowhere, someone approaches and asks if she's trying it on. Mirumi senses his happiness, feeling their bond has strengthened. The girls glance back at our hero, teasing that he might get left behind. He dashes to catch up with them. Temeri, since we're already here, don't you want to join in the fun, Kodo? Concerned, she wonders if it's okay to enter the changing room like this, and Temari reassures her since she came all this way. Taka mentions a cosplay she thought would suit Kodo perfectly, promising it'll create a great memory. She proposes surprising Narumi, recalling he liked that character from the cosplay. Kodo appears a bit tense and responds seriously. Confused, she asks how to wear it while Tishit starts explaining, but she requests him to slow down and not touch her too much. Temeri declares she's ready, looking just like the real character. Kodo asks if she truly believes that, and she insists they should show the boy. Back with Mirumi, she apologizes for the delay. Shyly, she asks if it looks good, leaving our boy speechless. He stutters, recognizing the character, thinking the bust area is a bit much, and she's so adorable he can't find his voice. Kano blushes slightly, saying it didn't bother her at all. Suddenly, she spins around and bolts away, while Temari quips, "This guy is a sinner," leaving our hero puzzled. In disbelief, our hero realizes summer vacation is almost over, something he never anticipated. He never thought he'd end up at a summer festival. He reflects on the beach and the cosplay event. This vacation is filled with new experiences, wondering what lies ahead when someone suggests grabbing a bite. All the girls chime in with ideas like candy apples, shaved ice, and chocolate-covered bananas. He notices Mitsuhama Minami and Tamari all dressed in kimonos. They look absolutely stunning. Tamari mentions Mocha and Mayumi. She adds that they're both beautiful girls. She inquires if they're also from Mirumi's class and wonders why she's wearing such a large outfit, finding Tamari amusing. They remark that it seems like Tanaka and Kaoru are collaborating again, showing great dedication. The other girl suggests they should go. Minami mentions it's been ages since she attended a festival. She asks if Mirumi comes every year. He replies that until middle school his sister dragged him along, but not much after that. She finds that typical. Someone asks if there will definitely be fireworks. Excitedly, she exclaims she can't wait. Our hero recalls dreaming of attending this festival with her as a child. Minami notices him lost in thought and asks what's bothering him, but he brushes it off. She mentions that on summer festival day, there was a belief that if two friends rang the bell, they'd be together forever. Narubi reminisces, saying the girls used to get really excited about it. Then she asks if he wants to sneak away with her. Minami takes his hand, surprising him as she runs to the other side. They reach the temple entrance while our hero feels a bit tense. The girl remarks it's quite dark and eerie, but Mirumi questions if she wasn't the one who brought him there. Suddenly she screams and jumps, clinging to the boy. But Narumi reassures her it was just a kitten, and the girl, embarrassed, admits she got startled. Out of the blue, the boy recalls the soft things that pressed against him. Blushing, she apologizes, and he says it's nothing, prompting Minami to hurry them along. As soon as they reach the temple's peak, they spot the bell. Our hero asks if this is the shrine from the legend. She replies it's more ordinary than she anticipated, and he agrees. Excited, she suggests that since they're here, why not ring it? The hero awkwardly stammers, and the girl urges him to just ring it already, so he concedes. Joyfully ringing the bell, she exclaims, "Here we go," while the two make a sacred offering. Minami argues that if the superstition held any truth, it would be widely recognized, and Narumi nods, sensing his own unease. Out of nowhere, she turns crimson and calls out to our protagonist. She inquires if there's ever been someone he had feelings for. Narobe stutters, confused about her sudden question, while she blushes, claiming it's mere curiosity. He takes a moment to reflect, stating that having feelings for someone is quite complex. He poses the question of whether she has a crush, and she shyly responds. A bystander comments, "Look at them, aren't they adorable students?" Another person chimes in, saying they shouldn't be here, but it's fine since there's another couple present. The two youngsters feel bashful, avoiding eye contact. With a deep blush, she asks if he wants to engage in those activities, prompting Arumi to exclaim, "What?" Minami continues, mentioning the Aviric guide. It's typical, but hear me out. She expresses that if Narumi is interested, she is too. She takes his hands, softly calling his name. Holding his hand, she admits her heart is racing. Turning bright red and shy, she wonders what they would do if they were truly together. They linger for a few more seconds, and our hero mentions Kagurazaka inching closer. Suddenly, someone rushes in shouting, "There you are!" Our hero instinctively raises his arms defensively. Minami apologizes for getting separated and says she's on her way. She turns to Narumi, saying she's okay if the superstition turns out to be true. The girls inquire about Tanaka and Kaoru, with one pointing out it's just over there, while our hero is stunned, asking, "Minami, are you really okay with that?" Typically, she's a high school cosplayer, but there might be more to her than meets the eye. Mocha and Mayumi whip up some tasty yakisoba and sausages, apologizing for the wait. The boy mentions that the shop owner suddenly had back pain, causing a stir as people noted a handsome guy nearby. Mary comments that the girls manage everything skillfully. They're thrilled and mention they've always wanted to try cooking at a street stall. Our hero declares it delicious, and Kaoru adds, "So what now?" He asks Narumi about the beauty, and she reveals she met her through Mitsuhara. The girl greets them, saying it's a pleasure to meet, while Narumi introduces Kaoru and Tanaka, but she suddenly spots something. She questions the puppy leg vibe and her handsome companion, wondering why Arumi's friend isn't as attractive, to which he replies, "Nice to meet you." Later at the festival, Mirumi thinks Mocha and Mamie will keep working. He gazes at the three girls, realizing they look stunning, and just watching them is refreshing. He reflects that creating memories like this with everyone was once unimaginable, yet it's genuinely enjoyable. Tamari points out a goldfish scooping game, and our hero expresses his desire to try it too. Then she highlights a mass stand. It seems Narumi recognizes one of them, and Tekka asks if he likes it. He confirms and, surprised, asks if she knows it too, since it's a robot aimed at a male audience. The two excitedly discuss the Enhymen, including various fight and conflict scenes between characters. Narumi thinks Tamari is usually quite mature, but when she talks about her interests, she becomes adorably innocent. Then she suggests that since they have this opportunity, they should buy a souvenir. Now Rumbi chimes in, yeah, let's do it. With a small smile, she mentions it will be a keepsake chest for them, while in Arumi, he feels shy, thinking, a keepsake chest for us. The girl rises, curious, while the boy looks away, thinking, don't get ahead of yourself in Arumi. Tekka glances at the nearby girls and asks, by the way, what were you and Minami doing inside the shrine? He insists nothing happened, but the girl claims it sounds quite suspicious. Taka mentions there were only couples in the shrine, and Narumi agrees, surprised. Then Tamari asks if he doesn't have a girlfriend, the kind of romance that makes your heart race. And the boy asks if she experiences that, but she clarifies that her boyfriend is cosplay. She says, how can I explain this? Marumi, you're criminally oblivious. Do you even notice when someone is flirting with you? She follows up with a question. When you're with a girl, do you exchange glances or have a lot of physical contact? Our hero admits he gets nervous and wonders if she might actually be flirting, while Tekka remarks it must be tough for any girl who falls for him. Narumi elaborates. The people he cares for include Mitsuva, Minami, and others, and even if he's insignificant to them, he's grateful for their friendship. Then, making the girl blush, he adds, and of course, I like you too, Tamari. Tekka remarks that when he speaks so directly, it's infuriating, almost criminal, and thinks a surprise attack like that must be against the rules. Out of nowhere, a guy appears, inquiring if she's Tekadum, a cosplayer. The girl stutters, insisting, no, The man, already snapping pictures, exclaims, it's incredible. She truly is the real Tekkanen. Tamari, however, chimes in that taking photos without consent is not cool. He argues that it's merely a photo, and what a coincidence she lives close by. Must be fate, but the girl, panicking, insists it's not like that. He reassures her that she doesn't need to hide, it's all good, while our protagonist suspects this might be an annoying fan. Excusing herself, she grabs the boy's arm. She bolts, declaring they need to leave. The man is left bewildered, wondering what just happened. The girl apologizes for the abruptness, but Narumi assures her it's fine. It was just a bothersome fan. The man continues to search the event for Tekka, while she remarks on his persistence, prompting Narumi to ask about their next move. She states they have no option but to hide and pretend to be his girlfriend. The boy agrees, but internally he's screaming, seriously, pretending to be my girlfriend. Then he thinks, that thing I'm not supposed to touch is pressed against my arm. It feels like marshmallows. He tries to concentrate, pushing away unnecessary thoughts for now. He focuses, attempting to suppress those carnal urges. Surprisingly, it's hard to see clearly, but it seems like Mary's face and neck are flushed. The girl pleads with him not to stare too much. She shyly admits she's not accustomed to this kind of situation. Suddenly, someone interrupts them, offering an apology. They ask Marumi if he's with Tekka, and she shouts for them to run. Later, that man finds them again, declaring the tag is over and now he can discover where she lives. Our hero retorts, that's enough. The guy excitedly claims that since he's moving nearby, he can give her massages. She begs him to stop with that, explaining she's been trained since childhood to handle situations like this, so she just recorded what he said. The man, disappointed, questions why he would do something like that. Jumping around like a fool, he insists the real Tekadon wouldn't treat him this way. Fuming, she retorts that she genuinely despises this kind of behavior. What? With a swift motion, she strikes the man, sending him stumbling back. Then, using her feet, she knocks him down. The guy, sprawled on the ground, accuses her of not being the real Tekadam and calls her a fraud. She crouches down angrily, asking if he wants more, but he bolts, claiming he's out of there. Our hero admires the girl's strength, noting she's truly impressive. She explains she's been practicing karate since she was 3, so she can handle it. He thinks she's adorable, incredible, and apologizes for not being more helpful. But she insists, no, I actually enjoyed pretending to be your girlfriend. The girls finally arrive, asking about the creepy guy and if everything is all right, but Tamari reassures them she kicked him out, so no worries. They mention the fireworks will start soon, and that Kuru and Tanaka made it just in time. The boys credit the girls for their help. Minami expresses her excitement. Kodo notes it's almost time for fireworks, but since it's the summer festival, she'd like a moment alone with Pedroso. But being alone with him feels awkward. She needs an excuse. Maybe a little photo session could work. Our hero checks in on Mitsueva. The girl jumps startled. She brushes it off, but Narumi questions her certainty, noting her worried expression. Blushing deeply, she insists, "I'm fine." Speaking loudly, she announces that she and Pedroso need to use the bathroom, and while he claims he doesn't need to, she covers his mouth. She insists they'll go together, and the others agree but remind them to return quickly. Later, he says, "So Mitsuha." The boy asks what's up since the bathroom is over there, and the girl replies, "Well." She explains that wearing a yukata makes this a perfect opportunity for some nice photos. Our hero is taken aback, asking here. Kano inquires what's wrong, and our hero comments that she looks really sexy, or rather attractive. The girl stammers, repeating attractive, but the boy apologizes for his silly comment, and she reassures him it's fine. Blushing deeply, she admits that when he says things like that, it makes her happy. Our hero asks if that's true, and Kodo quickly clarifies she's referring to today's photos, thinking, "Oops, that was close." She pauses a bit ahead, suggesting they take some photos. A bit shy as she undresses, she requests him to take her pictures. She believes she successfully isolated Pedroso, wondering if she's being too alluring and if it will end well. The boy concentrates on capturing her image, feeling a bit anxious. Narumi thinks that simply wearing a yukata makes her far more captivating than usual, and this feels off, especially in a secluded spot. Then it hits him. This is it. A flash lights up the sky as the fireworks commence. Meanwhile, our protagonist remains fixated on the girl. They're present, and the roommate realizes the fireworks have begun. Yet, he managed to snap some incredible shots, and the girl praises his talent. He notices that with her so near, dressed like that, it feels like they've crossed a line. Kodo wonders what to do now that her yukata is messed up after all her effort to tie it perfectly. Narumi suggests it can be fixed, prompting her to question that. Suddenly, he gives it a tug. The boy shares that he used to adjust his sister's yukata when they were younger. Mitsubishi acknowledges this, noting his hands are quite skilled, so our hero asks her to turn around, and she consents. She blushes as she watches him adjust her yukata. Now Rumi declares it looks good, and Koda expresses gratitude, thinking she seemed anxious. Upon returning, they apologize for the wait, realizing their friends have already started enjoying the fireworks. Our hero exclaims how massive the fireworks are, while another questions what he means, but Kodo insists she truly enjoyed it. She admits that watching them together makes her like him even more. Distracted, Narumi inquires about what she said, and she smiles, claiming it was nothing. Their friends are present, thrilled to create that shared memory. He reflects on what an incredible summer vacation it was, and one of them suggests taking a group photo. Kodo mentions she captured a fantastic shot of Pedroso lit by the fireworks, and the girls find him amusing, while Tamari remarks, "Again, Mitsuba." Summer vacation flew by, and just a few days have passed since the new semester kicked off. Kodo rearranged her desk, lamenting that she couldn't let go of summer break. She sighs, saying it went by too quickly, and asks Minami if she made good memories, to which the girl replies yes, but wishes for another month. Meanwhile, Pedroso is absorbed in his work. He reflects on how intense the month was, filled with beach outings, summer festivals, and getting to know Tamari. Startling Rumi, Tamari suddenly agrees, saying that's true. The girls are taken aback, asking when she arrived, while our hero wonders how she got into the school as she greets everyone. She explains she simply walked through the entrance, and Narumi clarifies that's not what he meant. Tamari pulls out an outfit, stating it needs summer pairs, and hoped Narumi could assist, figuring it would be easier to ask in person. The girls say Pedroso could have given them a heads up, but he claims he just found out himself. Then Tamari says, "All right, let's get to work." Everyone remarks that Tamari looks fantastic in a uniform. She mentions she chose this outfit today, but insists the two of them look great as well. Narumi notes that whenever the three girls gather, it's always lively, and just being in their presence feels refreshing. Outside, So Magirl asks Nin if everything's set, and she confirms to Hoju that it is. As they walk down the hallway, they say, "All right, let's go." In the craft room, the group is taken aback. A girl enters asking if this is truly the crafts club. Kuminable and Arumi inquire about her identity, while Minami and Tamari ask who she is as the girl clears her throat. She introduces herself as Hoju Lily, the third-year student council president, and the other girl is Nian from the disciplinary committee. Kona remarks that she's the elegant and talented student council president, and Minami agrees, saying she's impressive. Marubi asks why they came to the crafts club, while Walter Mary questions if her hair is naturally blonde and where they're from. She describes her blue eyes, long legs, and fair skin, saying they look like dolls and must be from another school. Tamari asks if either of them is into cosplay, leaving the girls puzzled. How'd you ask if this is the graveyard of the Handicrafts Club, while the two girls think that sounds like a scary story? Our hero states no. It's likely just because he's the only existing member, and the girl acknowledges this, saying it simplifies things. The Handicrafts Club is set to be disbanded. The two girls are stunned, exclaiming it can't be, while Narumi questions why. Stunned, Narumi asks if they're genuinely shutting it down so suddenly. That place is his paradise, but the girl clarifies it's still under review. However, based on the activity assessment, yes, and since he's the only member, it's wiser to allocate funds elsewhere. Koto declares she'll join the club and Minami agrees, leaving Narumi astonished. The student council president grows irritated, questioning what the two are suddenly discussing while the boy ponders. Mitsuhara and Minami are also present. To Mary, she inquires if the issue lies with the number of participants, claiming that's easily resolved. The girl responds with a firm no. Tamari isn't even enrolled at that school, yet she insists she has the principal's approval after speaking with him. The president states there are no reported activities, but Narumi clarifies that they mend uniforms and handle various tasks. Frustrated, she retorts that they haven't received any reports and that proof is necessary. Tamari then challenges her, saying, "Very well, see for yourself, student council president." Displaying the cosplays, she exclaims that these are Narumi's creations. The president gasps in disbelief, shouting, "What?" In a panic, she claims those outfits are inappropriate and indecent. Our hero argues that the clothes actually suit them well. She calls it mean, asserting that as a member of the disciplinary committee, she must provide a stern critique. However, taking a deep breath, the cheerful girl declares they're absolutely stunning, prompting the president to ask why she's complimenting them. She describes her soft, marshmallow-like body and smooth, silky skin, adding that perhaps if. Suddenly, she brandishes scissors, stating, "I'll be straightforward." As she begins cutting, she explains that if you do it this way and adjust that part there, Marumi is taken aback, realizing she transformed everything in an instant, enhancing the girls' outfits to look stunning. Tamari remarks on her high standards, while the other girls agree it looks fantastic, suggesting she must be a pro. Tamari wonders about Nian's true identity, and the girl admits it's merely a hobby. She adds that she's quite into this sexy style, brimming with excitement. She confesses her love for it. Our hero questions what kind of disciplinary committee member this is, while Tamari insists this is far beyond a hobby. With enthusiasm, she discusses the outfit, explaining how you can remove that section and tie it with a ribbon, asking if it wouldn't look incredible. The president insists that's unacceptable, claiming it's far too indecent while clutching her clothes. Tamari teases her, pointing out she's been staring for a while, asking if the president might be interested. The girl replies she can't because of her position. Leaning in close, the girl whispers, sexy outfits. Asking if she doesn't want to take a look, the girl finally relents, saying, "Just a little." Abruptly, she declares she'll never permit such activities in the club, and in that case, to conduct a thorough audit of the club's activities. She will temporarily join the Handicrafts Club as well. Everyone in the room is left speechless. Meanwhile, at school, the student council is hard at work. Students remark that the president is present, noting it's their first time seeing her up close, while teachers have entrusted them with student conduct. The president advises one girl that her hair is too long and tells a boy to button his shirt. As she moves forward, she adjusts another girl's tie and instructs a student to lower her skirt since it's too short, prompting an embarrassed apology. With enthusiasm, she says, "Let's go, Neen." Upon entering a classroom, she announces the interruption has begun. With energy, she introduces herself as the president of the Handicrafts Club and the student council president, here to engage them. Everyone appears puzzled, and silence envelops the room. The girl states that everyone is already gathered, and the friends all respond in unison, "President." She urges them to hurry because today marks the start of the crafting club's activities, while Narumi mentions he was considering heading home. In disbelief, the president contemplates going home. Outraged, she exclaims it's been a week without any progress. If this continues, the club will surely be disbanded. She asks Narumi if he isn't concerned. The president insists they should commence activities, while students remark they thought the club was defunct, and the girls surrounding Pedroso are all stunning. Shortly after, in the sewing room, the members introduce themselves. He states his name is Harob, but he prefers the nickname Pedroso, which he somewhat enjoys. Then Kono introduces herself, mentioning they became friends due to a shared hobby, and Nian reflects that she was her inspiration back in first year. Minami also introduces herself, stating she's his childhood friend, while Nian thinks she's quite popular with the boys and that she's the transfer student. Finally, Tamari introduces herself, explaining she met them through cosplay, and Neni is astonished to discover she's the renowned cosplayer she follows. They mention Tamari's arrival, and she explains she heard they would have enjoyable activities, while Neen wonders where she could have heard that. They welcome Tekka, and the two girls think Pedroso is surrounded by beauties, noting he's individually connected to each of them. Curiously, the girls observe him, questioning who he truly is, while our hero asks, "What's going on?" Hauser then suggests they should engage in typical crafting club activities and asks what they should begin with. Minami recalls the joy she felt when her grandfather gifted her a knitted sweater as a child, and our hero agrees that's a lovely story. A bit shyly, she mentions she thinks she'll create one too, considering Narumi. The president excitedly declares it's a wonderful and wholesome idea, and Minami blushes, asking, "Really?" Narumi wonders if everyone will knit, while Kodo questions her own skills. Tamari reassures her, promising to teach her everything. The girl exclaims how cute it is, praising his quick learning and talent, but Narumi insists they'll all catch on soon. The president gazes at the teddy bear with envy. Hoju is puzzled by her different result, despite following the same steps. Narumi encourages her to take her time and assures her she'll figure it out. He inquires about Gerhart's progress, and they respond that they feel they're starting to grasp it. They compliment each other's creations, suggesting a trade. The president questions if there's an issue. If she can assist in any way, she wants to know. One girl replies, "You can help me." She embraces the girl, expressing her expectations of the honorable Hoju and vowing to follow her for life. Feeling proud, Hoju remarks on her adorable vice leader. Suddenly, someone yanks her skirt. The president, flustered, asks what just happened. Nene admits she has a request, wanting to see her in something sexy, while the president scolds her. She shouts about the outfit, and Tamara jokes about her being a pervert, but adds it doesn't look bad, while Minami agrees it looks great. Tamari announces it's Minami's turn, asking seriously. The president covers her eyes, claiming she's fully exposed in this setting. The girl beams, declaring the outfit Mary made is really cool. Our hero compliments how great it looks on her, causing the girl to blush and question if he truly means it. Mary seems to have an idea, and the other girl agrees, both blushing. The president suggests taking a commemorative photo, while Texas mentions it will be the first memory of the crafting club. The president asks what she's doing, while the girls urge her to come closer. Mary instructs the president to stick her butt out and spread her legs a bit. Nain comments on how it looks amazing, while our hero covers his eyes but peeks, thinking he's witnessing everything. He muses about the brilliant president striking some seriously revealing poses. Kono asks Pedroso to snap a picture, to which he responds, "What?" She insists it's the club president's doobie and urges him to hurry, while Narumi thinks he can't refuse her request. With his phone ready, he asks them to look at the lens. Someone quips it's like he's scanning every inch of them. Narumi's technique is impressive, prompting another girl to ask, "Technique? What do you mean?" The president wonders about the sensation of having the camera aimed at her. Her body feels warm, and her heartbeat quickens as she shyly questions why this is happening. She realizes it's because that boy is looking at her with that blank stare. Nami and the president continue to pose for the photo. Meanwhile, Hojo seems to be enjoying this a bit too much. Minami comments on how adorable the president looks, and the girls agree she's beautiful. She grabs the phone and shows it to Haoju, who appears slightly annoyed, but relaxes moments later. Stammering in disbelief, she asks if that's really her. She exclaims that the photos are indecent and threatens to delete them, while Nain argues they're rare shots, and Narumi wonders about the crafting club's future. The disciplinary committee members have their secrets. In the student council room, the president exclaims, "What's wrong with that crafting club?" 9 ponders and agrees. Irritated, Hoju asks if she feels the same, and the girl responds, "What do you mean? Did I do something wrong?" Hojo retorts, "Don't act like you don't know. It's the situation you put me in." The girl apologizes, claiming her memory has been slipping lately, while the annoyed president insists, "No." But how Juice seems to be thinking about it. Recalling that moment makes her body heat up, and she's sure Pedroso has pictures of her in that situation. Nina asks if she actually enjoyed it, and the girl admits yes, wanting to feel that sensation again. But in the next breath, she flusters and insists no, absolutely not. Mayne believes the crafting club suits her, filled with cute girls. She wonders what Hoju might wear next time. She'd like to hear the president's thoughts, while another girl asks, "Me, in that indecent situation?" The girl replies, "Indecent, but you enjoy the indecency." She declares this won't go unpunished, planning to investigate that cemetery again today, while Mom thinks teasing her is just too much fun. Our hero glances back, noting the two of them are working hard. The president wonders about Pedroso, and the other girl asks where everyone is, but our hero clarifies it's just him today. She remarks that Mirumi, the president, seems inspired. She also asks what kind of sexy outfit he plans to create this time, but he insists he'd never do that. The girl questions how he dares. Young people should be pure, but Mayne argues there's no need to hide it, explaining it's his sister's apron. Desperate, the president demands to know what he plans to do with that apron, calling him depraved and impure, while our hero tells her to calm down. Ben Mean wants a closer look. She plans to use it for reference. Pushing her luck, she tells her to pay attention while exclaiming, "Oh no." Out of nowhere, the girl trips on a cloth and tumbles. The other girl attempts to catch her, but accidentally grabs a sensitive area. She screams in panic as our hero merely observes the shadow looming over him. The president lands on the guy, and the girl exclaims, "Oops, my bad, Hojo." Neen stands up, hand on her nose. She notices the president sprawled out, but something seems off. Her face flushes with shock. She starts shouting that it's her underwear, while Hoju urges her to calm down. She's way too flustered. The girl rises and apologizes to Pedroso, asking if he's okay since he was nearby. But as she stands, she accidentally leans against the guy in a compromising position, blushing and flustered. She covers her mouth to stifle a sound. Screaming, she shoves the guy away. She wonders aloud, "What was that moan?" Meanwhile, Nine snaps a photo of the girl's underwear, causing her embarrassment. Sitting down, she asks, "What else?" She tells him to stop, that's enough, questioning what's wrong with this club, while our hero realizes that was the wet sensation on his knee. Mysterious or introverted, the true nature of the enigmatic disciplinary committee representative remains hidden. Later in a store, this is Koto's usual haunt, and Amaze claims it's like paradise. It has every type of outfit, including Lolita and more. She ponders what outfit to dress Haju in next. Our hero observes the girl, while Koto thinks she never expected to be out shopping for clothes to dress the president alongside her. Shyly asks Kodano if she can try on this outfit, leaving the girl feeling embarrassed. She says. Koto apologizes for the weight, but doubts the size will fit properly. The girl insists she still looks fantastic and asks Narumi if it could fit the president, but he thinks it's hard to judge just by looking. "Loving it," Nain declares. "That's the next one then." While Kono tries on various outfits, the girl gets excited, exclaiming Mitsuhiro looks beautiful. The girl claims she's done and asks to rest, but Nine insists she can keep going, while Narui thinks she's quite shameless. He expresses happiness at her enjoyment, but Koto feels their original purpose has shifted. Then she inquires how the girl manages to act like that, and Koto admits she's curious about it too. It's unusual for a first-year and a third-year student to be so close. She asks about their relationship, and Mean responds, "How about you and I?" Laughing, she reveals they're actually childhood friends, surprising Koto. She explains, as you might know, that she hails from a wealthy, influential family and resides in a mansion with numerous servants and drivers. Meanwhile, Nine is the daughter of one of the maids who cared for Huju since childhood. She was her playmate. Since the president is only 2 years older, she always treated her like a younger sister. Then, when they began elementary school, that day, they played near the river. That's when she stumbled upon something she had never seen in the mansion, romance novels. Nian was captivated, recalling the overwhelming sensation that engulfed her. From that moment on, her obsession grew, and she even tried to teach Hoju about those naughty things, but she remained unchanged. She explains that it's tough to get her to open up, and our hero thinks that's how Nain became aware of these things. She's quite the peculiar person. Kano blushes, saying it's a lovely story, and they truly seem like sisters. Then she jumps up, declaring she'll help her choose outfits. Nin thanks her. Excited, Koto grabs an outfit and asks if Nin wants to try something on too. Shy, she appears hesitant, but Koto assures her it will look fantastic and that it's really cool. She recalls the past, wondering if she's okay, stating it's her duty to support Hoju and how she agreed. Then she begins to say she can't, but suddenly Koto rushes into the changing room, ignoring her protests. She thinks that since childhood, she's always admired Hoju's beauty from a distance, never wanting to be like her, content with just that. Then Koto asks Nini what she thinks of it and how she looks. She gazes at herself, enchanted by her reflection in the mirror. Some may hug Koto tightly, exclaiming, "So cute." Our hero remarks she looks stunning, and Mitsuba agrees, saying she looks amazing in that outfit. She resembles a doll, pushing the girl toward the mirror, urging her to take a look. But when the girl sees her reflection, she blushes and rushes back into the changing room, claiming she's not suited for this, while Koto asks our hero if she didn't look adorable, and he agrees. The president shows up, apologizing, while Min expresses gratitude for her effort. Next, the girl thanks her grandpa, promising to update him once they finish shopping. Koto ponders. Her grandpa really does exist. Haoju inquires if she mentioned her grandpa, but Kono points out it was Min who brought it up. The girl confesses she shared a bit about her past. Feeling anxious, the president asks if she said anything odd, but Koto chuckles, reassuring her not to fret. Thrilled, she thinks she never envisioned buying lingerie with both of them. Earlier, the girls discussed Pedroso being at a supermarket sale while Minami had chores waiting at home. How would you confirm their commitment to club activities? Nian claims she's genuinely become a member of the crafting club. The girl mentions the president was particularly enthusiastic today. Exasperated, she insists it's merely an inspection, but Nin reminds her of last time's revealing outfit. Hoju shares her goals, urging her to stop being ridiculous. She sneaks up behind the girl, telling Koto to look, revealing her childish underwear. Nian remarks it's quite daring to wear that here. She jokes she'd look Cuban in lingerie, but the girl insists she doesn't own anything like that. So does that mean she neglects herself? Mitsueva proposes an idea. She mentions a new store near the station and suggests they check it out together. Upon entering the shop, Nene is astonished, asking if this is a lingerie store. Hoju comments on the spaciousness, noting it's her first time in such a place, and her friend agrees. She suggests they measure their sizes first, and someone requests to be excused. Nian asks her to be gentle while the attendant instructs her not to move. She clarifies it's a sensitive area and that it tickles. The woman advises her to stay still. It'll be over shortly. The president thinks, "Nian, you're so shameless," as she gazes at the lingerie. She wonders what kind of lingerie this is. It's way too small. Suddenly, someone calls the president, asking if she found something nice. She approaches, saying this one is cute and would suit Nian, while Hoju asks which one. The girl points it out. Out of nowhere, she collides with another girl. Realizing it's Mamie, she exclaims in surprise at the coincidence. Waving her arms, she shouts, "Mitsuha is here too, big bro." She's shocked to see Pedroso. Koto observes that Pedroso looks paler than usual, and the president notes that Mitsuhi noticed the change. Maybe ask why the president is here, and Arumi explains she joined the crafting club recently, thanking her for looking after her brother. She questions why a knight would be in a place like this. Mamie replies her brother should buy whatever his sister desires, so he got paid, and she insisted. Smiling, she asks him if that's true, and our hero responds, "Yes, ma'am." Kodum praises him as a great brother, but questions bringing her own brother to a lingerie store. The girl explains that since he has no expression, it's easy to take him anywhere. She pulls him along, saying, "Let's go, big bro." To Mary, she notes that Haro's expressionless face might make it easier for him to end up in awkward situations. Kona jumps, and the president remarks she appeared out of nowhere, while Taka asks if they came to check out the new store, saying it's nice. The girl explains they just agreed to pick out some lingerie for Hoju, and Min in Timerick comments, "Interesting." She tells the president to try on the lingerie she was eyeing earlier and suggests trying one with Min. "Who's you?" stammers, asking if she really has to wear that, and Tamari insists yes. There's no fooling her sharp gaze. She adds that, as expected of the president, it was a mature choice, saying, "How bold of you, President." The girls declare it's perfect and super cute, while the president stutters. Kobanab and Tamari clarify it's just for trying on. Embarrassed, the president exclaims, "Oh my God," feeling she's lost the battle. Emerging from the fitting room, she apologizes for the wait, and the girls are thrilled. Min starts to say something about Hooju, but the president interrupts, telling her to be quiet. The girls say it looks fantastic, but the girl feels shy, and Min remarks it's amazing to receive such support, while Tamarid fetches more to try on. They notice that from lacy styles to bolder choices, all of them look stunning, making it hard to decide. Maybe Nobis is there having fun. Excited, she points at Mime, surprising the girl. Koto mentions she's also a first year, so she must be her friend. Maybe says they're in the same class, and Nien expresses surprise that Pedroso is her brother. Our hero appears, saying, "I was wondering where you disappeared to." Yelling and calling him an idiot, she shoves her hand in his face. Later, Mimi expresses her gratitude to her brother, saying she loves him, while Koto mentions she bought a few things too, and Tamari says she can't wait. Meanwhile, Nine is thrilled, thinking it's her first real bra. Grandpa arrives to pick them up, surveying the scene. He wonders when the young lady became such a grown woman and why this is happening. The president, lost in thought, seems to be experiencing increasingly stimulating daily life. At the school pool, someone informs Hoju that the teacher called for her, and the girl agrees. The president begins to undress, reflecting that their first shopping trip with the crafting club was truly a fun day. She never anticipated Pedro Sur would have such a cool sister, and it still felt odd for a guy to enter a laundry store. A memory surfaces, and she thinks it was that moment. Feeling a bit embarrassed, she recalls how ever since dating that boy, a student asks if she's all right. In the student council room, someone praises her, and she realizes no one else has shown up yet. Stretching, she remarks that she feels more exhausted than before, suddenly realizing something. Reeling back, she remembers she forgot to wear a bra. She tries to recall how long it's been like this, wonders where she left it, and if anyone noticed, attempting to stay composed. As she approaches the door, our hero suddenly appears, calling her name, causing her face to flush. She yells back too loudly, then thinks, "It's Pedroso. Why is he here now?" He asks what's wrong. She notices his gaze and wonders if he realizes she's brayless, worrying he might be trying to embarrass her. He mentions he came for a meeting about the club's budget, but seems to have arrived late. He just stands there, and she feels herself getting redder. She admits she completely forgot, but now that he brings it up, she recalls their arrangement. She mentions a new member interested in joining and that she intended to request a sewing machine, now doubting her qualifications for the council. He addresses her as president, and she suggests they sit and discuss, thinking, "What am I even doing?" She apologizes, saying they should get to the point, while he questions if they're rushing, and she thinks about holding a meeting without a bra. The president insists it's just his imagination, but then slips and mentions a bra, quickly covering it up by saying they ran out of thread. He asks if she's going to get more, and she stutters, fumbling her words, wondering if he didn't come with his sister, hoping he hasn't noticed. Our hero checks in on the president, noting she seems surprised often, and she brushes it off, claiming it's nothing. He remarks that the conversation feels off, suggesting she's being defensive, and offers help if anything's wrong as president of the crafting club. Feeling embarrassed, she wonders if he figured out she's braless, while he maintains his blank expression. She thinks his eyes seem to see right through her, as if he perceives everything. Panic sets in, her face turning crimson. Suddenly, she stands, apologizes, and says she needs some fresh air. Concerned, our hero asks if she's all right, noting her flushed face. In a sudden mishap, she trips and accidentally hits him in the face with her braless chest. Shocked, she thinks, "I'm not wearing a bra." Narumi can only mutter, something soft. Just then, Nene bursts in as the president calls him an idiot, and she rushes out completely flustered. Blushing, she wonders why embarrassing situations always seem to occur around Pedroso. As the boys lie on the floor, Nene comments that it looks like he's committed another major blunder. The trio arrives at a massive mansion. The girl exclaims it resembles a palace. Minami calls it an incredible castle, and our hero asks if it's the president's home. The girl arrives and apologizes for the delay. Hosier greets everyone, thanking them for accepting her invitation, while Nien also offers a greeting. Pointing to a van, she says, "All right, let's go." Grandpa asks Pedro Soda to take a seat first, and he agrees. He thinks he can't believe he'll be staying in a guest house with this group, while the girls excitedly urge, "Let's go." Earlier, in the sewing room, Marumi announces the club will present something at the school festival this year, asking if anyone has ideas. They wonder what they should do and recall last year's activities. He explains that the club is so unknown they've never done anything before, and another girl responds, "Oh, so that's how it is." The president admits she didn't realize the craft club was still active. Ideally, this time they should create something eye-catching, something in the club room, and Monami suggests a cafe where they could make outfits. As Narovi writes ideas on the board, the girls begin to chime in. He marvels at how quickly they reach a consensus. The crafting club's future looks bright. The president notes they don't have many days together and proposes going somewhere to prepare and discuss everything calmly. Mane announces they're going on a trip, claiming the president's vacation house is perfect, and Minami asks if she really owns one. Wakoto says it'll be fun. Later, they arrive at Cozy House. The girl exclaims this is the place, and Minami excitedly declares it's beautiful and spacious. Our hero feels a bit carsick. Despite taking medicine, he still feels unwell. He mentions he plans to rest a bit, but they tell him to stop being dramatic, warning that if he doesn't hurry, they'll leave him behind. Time passes as they shop, enjoy ice cream, explore the area, and take photos. He observes the girls, thinking it's enjoyable. But he's nearing his limit, and Kodo asks if he's all right. He apologizes, saying he'll head back early. He tells them to have fun and departs. Kodo worries about him, while the president offers him one of the rooms. Hoju notes he really isn't feeling well, but it's hard to tell since he has no expression, and Kodo, smiling, agrees. The girls call for the two of them to hurry, and they respond they're on their way. Later, our hero relaxes in the water, thinking, "Thanks to the butler's kindness in letting me bathe first, this is incredible." Since the second semester kicked off, Narumi reflects on the countless memories they've created together. Who would have thought the crafting club would embark on such an adventure? He's genuinely thrilled. It feels surreal, a soft dream. Gazing into her eyes, he speaks softly. They share a moment of silence. In an instant, they look away, Narumi calling out her name while Kodo shouts his. Embarrassed, she apologizes, admitting she didn't realize he was there. Narumi also expresses regret, saying they should have coordinated the bath schedule. She explains her concern since he was absent from the room and the butler remained silent. Kodo apologizes, stating the butler instructed him to enter first. But there they are on Tuesday, shy and back-to-back. Narumi wonders what to do. He missed his chance to escape, causing chaos for everyone and ruining the trip. He just wants to get out. They lean against the rocks, hearing a distant noise. Kono calls out his name but is abruptly interrupted by a loud, "We're here!" 3 other girls announce their arrival, saying they came to freshen up before lunch, while Hoju inquires if everything is all right since they hadn't spoken to the butler. In a panic, Kodo yells for them to shower first, and the girls respond, "Okay, geez." She instructs Pedroso to hide behind that rock for now, promising to distract them. One girl asks Kodoha about the water, and with a shaky voice, she replies that it's really nice. Others comment on Minami's stunning figure, and the girl thanks Nin while the president scolds her. Haben Hamaju asks if she's feeling jealous, and Minami joins in the teasing. Kano urges him not to move, sensing something dangerous is afoot. Panic sets in. He thinks, "I can't handle this if I don't escape." The girls relax, declaring this place paradise, feeling utterly amazing. Minami asks Koro if she's lost in thought, but the girl stutters, insisting it's nothing, trying to brush it off. She notices Koto's figure has changed, and shyly, Koto tells her to hold on, but not right now. The president questions Kavato about the "not now" comment, and Min claims she's saving herself for later. Koto thinks that was a close call. She spoke without thinking, and suddenly, someone mentions Pedroso. "How'd you ask where he went?" Koto, trying to stay composed, says he sent a message. He mentioned feeling unwell and needing some fresh air or something. Minami nods, saying they hadn't even seen him. She continues, saying Pedroso just left, abandoning all these beauties. The president asks what she means by that. She explains that Pedroso took Karsek in the car, so he needed a little stroll, and the girl says she gets it, but suddenly has an idea. She declares it's the perfect moment for a girls-only chat. Everyone, including those hiding, is taken aback. Then she stands up and asks, "All right, everyone, what do you think of Pedroso? Speak up now." Meanwhile, back at the vacation house, Minami points and asks, "What do you think of Pedroso?" That's right. Everyone in the water looks shocked. Koto panics, thinking, "What should I do? Pedroso is really here. I can't let them discover my presence." As our hero worries, he doesn't want to hear them speak ill of him, and on top of that, he's creating a massive issue for Mitsuha. The girl eagerly urges them to share everything. Nene claims she's his childhood friend, while the president says that just Nene is enough to keep things lively. Minami stutters, saying, "Yeah, right, hey, wait, Nene, that tickles." The president asks if Pedroso has always been Pedroso, and the girl replies that even back in kindergarten, she never quite understood his thoughts. After he transferred, she began to ponder it, and his kindness has remained unchanged. The girl remarks, "Isn't it wonderful that he cares about us?" Minami states that Narumi possesses many admirable traits, while our hero thinks it's surreal to be praised by his first love. This feels like a dream. The president describes him as enigmatic, noting his eyes can be a bit intimidating, as if he's contemplating something odd. He takes the club seriously and seems to genuinely care for his sister. Minami adds that they make a lovely pair of siblings. Overall, he has a knack for drawing people in. Hoju chimes in, saying she doesn't believe he's that shameless, and Min reassures her that she's worrying for nothing. Then the excited girl mentions Koto, suggesting they seem quite close. The girl starts to panic, thinking she must resolve this somehow while stammering, She insists they're not that close, just that their seats are near each other, stammering. She claims he's merely a friend, ending with a nervous laugh. Mina questions if that's truly all, suggesting Koto might like him, which sends Koto into a frenzy. She defends herself, saying there's no way she likes him as anything more than a friend, insisting she doesn't love him or anything. Then the girl says, "All right, Kono, let's wrap up this conversation." The president concludes that everyone views him as a good person, and Min complains that it ended just when it was getting interesting. Kono suggests they hurry since the butler's about to finish setting the dinner table, and the president agrees it's the right time to leave. Nene mentions the food is delicious, especially the stew, while Minami says she's starting to feel hungry. Kono lingers, waving goodbye, saying she'll join them later and that she wants to stay a bit longer. Relaxed, she thinks they somehow managed to avoid detection. Even in the hot spring, she felt drained, yet they escaped without being caught, but she grows contemplative. She apologizes if the atmosphere turned awkward for any reason, mentioning that about the liking you thing. It's not a lie. But, she adds, I mean, as a person, you're really dependable, and... Suddenly, she turns around, realizing he has fallen asleep. The girl yells his name as he appears to be drowning. In a panic, she exclaims he's turning red and decides to call the butler, dragging him to the edge. As night descends on the vacation home, the butler anxiously tends to the boy. He ponders why they were bathing together, recalling her request for secrecy, yet he questions their actions. In the dead of night, Nene stirs awake. Needing to use the bathroom, she heads downstairs, finding him and announcing she's finished. Feeling somewhat rejuvenated, she asks in the dark if they'll be sharing a bed again tonight. Morning arrives and the girl begins to wake, cheerfully greeting the day. She beams, noting how cheerful the girl is in the morning, returning the greeting. Playfully, she adds, "If that's the case, then here's something for you too." Suddenly, an unsettling feeling washes over her, as if she's found something perfectly cozy. Realization hits. She's sprawled on top of Pedroso. Both look bewildered, questioning what's happening. Her cheeks flush as she asks Pedroso what's going on, while he raises his arms defensively, apologizing and claiming it's a misunderstanding. He inquires why Neen is in his room, to which she replies she must have wandered into the wrong one, a common occurrence when she's sleepy. She admits it's the first time she's touched a man like that and questions if he'll take responsibility. The president bursts in, exclaiming it's morning and asking Pedroso about his condition, only to freeze in shock upon seeing them in bed. Stammering, she fumbles over names, while our hero insists it's all a misunderstanding. She rushes to Neen, declaring this is utterly shameless, but the girl retorts that she's overreacting. It's not what it seems. The president questions if Neen got lost during the night and urges Pedrosa to get up. They need to start preparing for school. Today,